What is up? Everybody should be live and here. What is up? Libby, thank you for being in here. Definitely appreciate that. Thank you uh, so much. Appreciate that. So, yes, the heat is on. It's extremely hot. Extremely hot. So, figured why not teach about heat waves and heat domes and how these things are very troublesome at times for people when it comes to that. So hopefully you are doing great tonight. Libby, thank you for being here. Thank you for everybody who's on Twitch. Thank you to everybody who's on YouTube. Thank you to everybody on Facebook. And thank you to everybody on Kick. I appreciate all of you. You all are awesome. So very thankful, very blessed for all of you. We'll get some few minutes here for people to jump in and everything else, but besides that, it is hot. It is hot here in Chicago. Extremely hot. Extremely hot. I think the air temperature today was between, I think, 95 and 98. And I do believe the heat index was up in the hundreds today. So, yes, very hot today. Um, so, again, it is extremely hot. So, hopefully, wherever you guys are at, it might be a little bit cooler, but nonetheless, it is pretty dang hot. Here, very hot. Me and my wife finished putting uh, together brand new trampoline for our son and for us as well too. So that was a lot of fun doing that in 95-degree weather. So but besides, so very hot doing that today out there, but a lot of fun putting the trampoline together. So a lot of stuff, very hot. Excuse me, very hot. Um, Extremely hot here in Chicago. It's like been hardly any clouds for the past 3 or 4 days. So again, so yes, so why not? So I figured it'd be a great time, great tool to teach about heat domes and heat waves, uh, and everything. So, um, Libby says that doesn't sound like a fun project for the heat. Nah, it definitely was, uh, yeah, definitely hot. And then I had to, not only was it extremely hot, then I had to, because of yesterday, I got sunburnt yesterday, so like then I had to, um, um, really kind of be layered up today, so I didn't get sunburnt anymore. So that was pretty awesome. So, but it was a lot of fun. Me and my wife had a lot of fun doing that. She's awesome. She's a rock star. But yes, we were. It reminded us a lot. Me and my wife went on vacation a couple years back to Key West, Florida, and that is kind of what it reminded us today out there because it was when we were down in Key West, it was just brutally hot, extremely hot. But yes, it was a lot of fun. Great project to do that. So So very thankful for that. Thank you, um, Meline. Meline, thank you, Meline, for subscribing. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Meline Brockman, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Appreciate that. Uh, Libby says, do you keep aloe in the fridge for your sunburn? Not in the fridge. We do have aloe, I believe. We do have something, so, um, but not in the fridge. No, we don't do that when it comes to that. So, but yeah, it's it's hot here in Chicago. We are under a basically under a heat dome right now. Um, and again, I'll get into all that of what that is, um, what that entails, a heat wave, things of that nature as well. So we'll give it. Excuse me, sorry. Give it some more time here. People to come in and hang out. But besides that, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys were here yesterday, hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream, the live severe weather stream yesterday, and going over and providing you hopefully some great information live streaming for severe weather coverage. So I do appreciate everybody who joined in yesterday for that. So that was very awesome. So very appreciative of all of you guys who joined in. Very awesome. So because I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun streaming, live streaming severe weather coverage last night. It was just me solo, all by myself. So I had a lot of fun doing it. So again, it was the first time, but hopefully you guys all enjoyed it as well. And again, thank you to all who were here and um, counted on me as a reliable and trusted source. Definitely appreciate that. So you guys are all awesome and everything. So very very thankful for all of you. So when it comes to that, but yes, great to see you in here, Libby. Great to see other folks in here as well. Thank you to everybody on Twitch. Thank you to everybody on Facebook. Thank you to everybody on YouTube, and thank you to everybody on Kick. For some reason, the Facebook viewers, it doesn't. This plugin does not show the Facebook viewers, although it's up in the corner there in between the Kick and the YouTube current viewers. For some reason, the YouTube for some reason the Facebook one never updates. So I have to figure that out eventually, but that's beside the point. Anything else? So, man, I'm sorry. This heat. Whew. A lot of ice cream. Although I didn't have a lot of ice cream, I did have an ice cream sandwich, so that was really good. Um, very good with very good ice cream sandwich. So Ben and Jerry's, Ben and Jerry's peanut butter um, pretzel ice cream bar or ice cream sandwich. I forget exactly what it's called, but I know it's peanut butter and pretzel, and that is amazing. So highly recommend that from Ben and Jerry's. It's very freaking awesome. Oh my gosh, but yeah, it's man, it was sweltering out there today. Still is. We got the fair weather clouds, the cirrus clouds going on. So, but hello to everybody. Thank you again for everybody for being in here. Thank you, everybody. And again, excuse me. Oh man, it's freaking hot weather. But thank you guys all so much. Please chime in on chat. Please, um, please chime in. Please feel free to ask any questions, anything like that. Right now, just chatting right now, and we'll get started here here shortly. So let's give time for people to come in and flow in, and then we'll get started. But a heat dome and heat wave, because they are two different things. So Libby says, "Are you talking about Ben and Jerry's impressively fudged?" No, but that does sound amazing. Whatever that is, I have never heard of that, to be honest with you. But that looks, or that sounds pretty awesome. So, no, actually it's called peanut butter and pretzel. Um, it's an ice cream bar. It's like a, so it's got a stick on it, you know, and ice cream, whatever. So, but nonetheless, what you are talking about here sounds pretty amazing. So I've never heard of that. So that's pretty awesome. Ben and Jerry's impressively fudged. Never heard of that. Yeah, it's I'm a huge peanut butter and like pretzel and chocolate guy. So if there's peanut butter and pretzels and chocolate, I'm usually game for it. So that's just me. I do like that a lot. So um, peanut butter, chocolate, pretzels, and they go good over on top. And they go good over on top of each other. So when it comes to that, but yeah, but very thankful for all of you. Thankful again for everybody who tuned in yesterday. Hope you guys had a great time yesterday during yesterday's chat. You guys were all awesome. You guys were all very supportive, very encouraging during yesterday's live stream of severe weather coverage. So I think I did all right. I think I did. You know, again, it can always get better at every day, but I do think I did. That I did okay on it. So so very very pleased with how it turned out for the very first one. So but definitely very pleased with it. So so far, Libby, it looks like you are. Oh, thank you, um, Luciano, for subscribing. Thank you very much. Definitely appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Luciana De Silva. I am going to really probably butcher your last name. Guabiroba. Probably not even nowhere near how it's pronounced, but I tried it my best. And thank you, brother, Brian Harter, for commenting on Facebook. Appreciate that. Thank you so much, brother. Definitely appreciative of that. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Oh, oh, thank you, Brian. Brian, I am 21414 for following on Twitch. Thank you very much. Highly appreciate that. Very awesome. Very, very awesome. So, when it comes to that, so you guys are all awesome. Like I said, hope you guys had a great time yesterday during my first live stream for covering severe weather. So very thankful for that. Gonna give it another uh, probably another 5 to 10 minutes before we jump in to heat dome, heat wave, and some other great things. We'll talk a little bit too on how to spot like uh, uh, talk a little bit. We'll talk a little bit too about how to spot heat related illnesses and things like that. So we'll get into a little bit of the science of what causes heat domes, um, which is a term which we will get into what an actual heat dome is and the terminology behind that that's used. We'll get into a little bit about the science of it and how long they can last for, and we'll talk. Then we'll move in and talk about heat waves, and then we will move in talk about some heat, how we can spot heat-related illnesses. Uh, so heat-related illnesses are very serious, and we'll talk about that when that part of this session comes up. So, very thankful, very thankful again for all of you. Thank you to everybody who's watching on Facebook. Thank you to everybody who's watching on Twitch. Thank you to everybody who is watching on Facebook, and thank you to everybody who is watching on Kick. You guys are great, great supporters, tremendous supporters. And as you can see on YouTube, I am pushing towards 3.6 thousand. So almost up to 3,600 subscribers on YouTube. So making some great progress here. So at this rate, I should be at 5,000 come next week. So 5K is a huge, huge milestone. So definitely looking for that. And then at this rate as well, come another 2 to 3 weeks, be at about 10K. So, so great progress is so definitely thankful for that. Thankful for all the progress that is being made when it comes to that. So, but thank you, Libby, for saying yes. It is important to know the difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Yes, two very uh, very concerning heat related illnesses, and it's really good to spot the difference between them and how much time you have to react and things of that nature. So um, when it comes to that, so yes, they are treated differently. Like Libby says here, they are different, um, but nonetheless, they are very serious. They are very definitely very serious. So looks like, oh, thank you, brother Brian. Appreciate that, brother. Uh, brother Brian says follow you on 3 platforms now. Thank you. Thank you. Um, Brian is married to my cousin Sarah. So Brian is uh, a dear brother of mine. So thank you, Brian. Definitely appreciate that, brother. Very kind of you. So um, hope you and Sarah and all of and you guys' all the boys are great. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are being blessed and everything is going good. So again, thank you for the support, Brian. Highly appreciate that. again, hopefully it all is going great with you and Sarah and the boys. So again, thank you so much, and thank you so much for being a supporter and an encourager. So God bless you. On all that, I really do appreciate that so much. So, but again, so pushing towards 3,600 subscribers here on YouTube. It's getting really awesome. Grown pretty quickly here. Again, uh, it's obviously due to number one, um, due to God, obviously, and then Brother John as well, Pastor John, Storm Chaser John McKinney as well, for him being such a great supporter and encourager as well. So that is why I am, uh, you know, um, just being able to move along pretty quickly and to grow my platform fairly quickly. So, but yes. So again, thank you, Brother Brian, for being here. Thank you, Libby. Uh, Always great questions and everything else. So, I'm gonna kick it off here in about 5 minutes, just to get things going, and then we'll get into the topic. Again. We'll discuss what's happening. Um, we'll get to the science of it. We'll get into what is causing a heat dome, and then we will jump into what is considered a heat wave, and then we'll jump into again how to spot some heat related illnesses and to take them seriously. So because they are very serious, especially people who do work outside. People, there's or anything you're doing. If you're walking for a certain amount of time, um, it's got to be serious. You got to take it seriously when you are outside. So in this type of heat, and like I said, here in Chicago, it has been hot. So very hot. And thank you, Brother Brian, for following on Kick as well. So thank you. One man show. Great to see you, brother. Very great to see you in here. Always a pleasure. Always great to see you in here. God bless you as well. One man show. Thank you so much. Huge supporter. Just awesome. Awesome individual. Awesome brother. So, one man show was from New Hampshire. So, yesterday he got a lot of coverage yesterday, um, with some of the storms up there yesterday with one man show. So hopefully he didn't get a lot of tree damage. Hopefully he didn't have any, too much, or maybe for business. Maybe you do want. I don't know what that means for business. So maybe business picks up, obviously, with more trees that are down or need cut. But I guess that's kind of a double-edged sword at times, probably. So when it comes to that, so but hopefully you know, hopefully everything's okay out there, with if you had any type of cleanup from some of those storms. So some of those storms were nasty, especially up in northern New York last night for sure. When we looked at, if you remember last night, when we were looking at that destructive storm that came across, that just bloomed as soon as it came across um, the U.S. Canada border, and it became destructive. And we're looking at that hail, and it was down to about 70, or it was up to about 71, 72 dBz, and that thing was nasty last night with all that hail up there. So that was pretty disgusting hail that was falling. 3-inch hail. I mean, we're talking larger than baseballs coming down at you. Again, basically between 70 and 100 miles per hour. So very, very. They got rocked up there last night. So um, I did not Google to see if there was any damage or anything, but I'm sure there was. Uh, there just had to have been, by unless it was falling more in like a rural area, but they did hit some towns. Um, yes, so I would definitely assume there is some structural damage there for sure. last night. And then there was two destructive tag thunderstorms out of Montana last night. So Montana was getting hit pretty hard as well. So and everything. So very thankful um, for that. So looks like we got coffee in here. Coffee is ready 24/7. So thank you very much, Coffee, for being in here. Thank you very much. Very awesome of you to join in. Uh, very awesome for that. Um, yep, absolutely, Libby. Definitely, yep. Definitely could have been some crop damage, probably a lot of tree damage as well. Yep, even in a rural area, definitely for sure. So, and as we know, crops are just as important as structures or anything else because we need crops, obviously, for our food supply. So, it's very so crops do get damaged a lot during hailstorms and big wind events. So it depends on how smashed or pushed forward or that crops get. So if you ever see like crops like in the path of big windbag events like a derecho or something like that, you see crops just get flattened and then they won't be able to uh, be used for that season or whatever it may be. So crops are just as important as structures and everything else as well. So we do need our crops. So when it comes to that, but awesome. Thank you, Libby. Thank you, One Man Show. Thank you, Coffee. You guys are all awesome. Thank you to everybody again who's watching on Twitch. Thank you to everybody who's watching on Kick. Thank you to everybody who's watching on um, YouTube, and thank you to everybody who's watching on Facebook. Again, pushing me towards uh, almost 3,600 subscribers on YouTube. So very close, very very close to becoming a YouTube partner. So again, I don't need that many more watch hours. So getting very very close to hitting that milestone to where I can apply to become a YouTube partner. So that's going to be very exciting when that time comes. So very exciting for that. I'm gonna start here in 2 minutes. So start here about right around 8:16 my time. So it'll be 9:16 Eastern. It will be 7:16 Mountain. It will be 6:16 Pacific time. So very very um, so very awesome stuff. But yeah, just very thankful for all of you. You guys are such tremendous and great supporters. Such great. You guys ask a lot of great questions. A lot of a lot of enthusiasm. A lot of just being inquisitive. So a lot of great stuff. Very proud of all of you. Very thankful for all of you. Such a great community. Such a great weather community. Such a great, just a lot of great stuff. So very thankful. And if you are new here, thank you and welcome to John Boy Severe Weather Lab and Education. I'm very happy and very excited to have you in here. If you are new here, please go back and check out some of my other content. You will find several videos, several live streams teaching on different weather phenomenon and things of that nature. So right now you can find education on hail, tornadoes, lightning, how to read radar, things of that nature. So quite a bit of fun stuff that's up there posted. So please go back and check out the content. Definitely appreciate that. So you guys again are all awesome. So without further ado, appreciate everybody joining in. Appreciate everybody taking the time out of their day to be a part of this weather session, to be a part of this weather seminar. Thank you very much. Definitely appreciate it. And as always, if you are new here, I always start off by giving glory, giving honor, giving praise to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because without him, none of this is possible. He is my Lord and Savior. He is awesome. He is everything. So I'm very thankful, very blessed for His love and for His mercy and for His grace and for giving me the opportunity and platform to help you guys and to teach you guys and to be a part of this community. So always, always give thanks to my Lord and Savior Jesus first for everything. So, and if you do not have a personal relationship with Jesus, or if you do not know Jesus as your personal Savior, please reach out to me or please reach out to somebody in the chat so we can help lead you in the right direction. And again, it's not us that save you. It is Jesus who saves you. All we can do is point you in the right direction, and it's on you in your faith. That is um, that is your faith is what your faith is what is going to provide that Jesus will provide that salvation through your faith, and so your faith is what is the most important. So when it comes to that, very thankful again for all of you, and just thankful for my Lord, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for allowing me the opportunity to do this. So very thankful again and very blessed. So just again, if you do not have a relationship with Jesus, please again reach out to me or somebody in the chat, and we can help point you in the right direction. Thank you. Okay. So yes, so very thankful. Again, so very thankful for all of you. Very thankful and blessed for this opportunity. So again, you guys are awesome. So again, just very thankful for all that. So it is again just a very awesome thing. So let's dive in to the heat dome. What is a heat dome? And I don't ever like using Wikipedia for things, but actually Wikipedia actually had more stuff here than what some other things had. So it was actually kind of surprising. But nonetheless, it is all factual that is written here on Wikipedia when it comes to that. Um, so it's definitely so again. Wikipedia can sometimes be your friend. It can sometimes not, because obviously, as you know, if you know from what Wikipedia is, anybody and everybody can just pretty much come in here and post inside of it. So, but again, I don't usually like using it, but it actually does cover the topic really well. And again, it is all factual here. It's nothing that is not factual or nothing that is not. Nothing that is not true here. So, heat dome. Let's get into it. Because it is hot, and hot. So, heat dome is a weather phenomenon consisting of extreme heat that is caused when the atmosphere traps air, hot air that is, as if bounded by a lid or cap. And we will get into a little bit more of the science of that. So again, a heat dome is a weather phenomenon consisting of extreme heat that is caused when the atmosphere traps hot air as if bounded by a lid or cap. So the hot air is being trapped and being capped, like with a lid on it. And again, I will discuss and get into more of the science of that, of what's happening there with the hot air. Heat domes happen when strong high pressure, so a high pressure system builds, or sometimes called a high ridge, or a strong high ridge pressure. There's a bunch of different names for that high pressure that builds. So atmospheric conditions remain stationary for an unusual amount of time, preventing convection and precipitation and keeping hot air trapped within a region. So what's going on here? So to explain a little bit what's happening here, so we have a high pressure, right? So a high pressure system builds up and it sits underneath the jet stream. So a high pressure system will build in, and what high pressure means is that it is the winds around it is circulating in a clockwise type motion. So that is basically the direction of how the winds flow around a high pressure system. But nonetheless, a high pressure system is building up heat. So if we know about, so actually, and then it's pushing the heat, and we'll get into a little bit. The heat starts sinking because because of how hot and how heavy that um, the heat, the parcels of air are heavier, so they're sinking back down to the ground. So the heat is suppressing, it's pushing the air back down, it's sinking air that's coming back down to the ground. So when there's no convection, so meaning there's no rain, there's no clouds, there's none of that, and then obviously precipitation. So basically what is happening is that a heat dome is just keeps suppressing the air, and it keeps sinking the hot air back down to the ground, and it has nowhere to go. So that's why it keeps getting hotter and hotter and hotter. That's it becomes a heat dome. There's no room, there's nowhere for that heat to escape at. So heat usually, so there's no lift, right? So you need lift in order for that heat to escape, but the heat cannot escape when there's no lift because the high pressure just keeps pushing and sinking the air back down. So, but if there was convection or if there was precipitation, there would be lift, and some of that heat could escape or expand or expel through that convection and through that precipitation. But the high pressure says, no, I'm not going to let you do that. So that is what's happening a little bit, and we'll dive a little bit more into that. But I just kind of wanted to give you kind of a glimpse into what is happening there. So it's basically a big bowl. It's a big ridge of high pressure, sits underneath the jet stream. So the jet stream will ride on top of the high pressure, and they come back down the other side. So sometimes it'll look like an omega block. Sometimes it'll look um, but that's basically kind of what it looks like. So they call it an omega block as well because it looks like the omega symbol, from the Greek alphabet. So that is what's happening. So the jet stream there is not strong enough to move. Not only is it not strong enough, it's riding above that high ridge. So there's nothing that's kicking it off to the east, and that's why places like Chicago and places like other parts of the Midwest are just baking and cooking right now because there's nothing to move it along. So, so basically, the hot air is just being trapped. There's a lid on it, and the hot air has nowhere to go. It's just trapped. So this can be caused by multiple factors, including sea surface temperature anomalies and the influence of La Nina. Yes, that both of those is true. The upper air weather patterns are slow to move, referred to by meteorologists as an omega block. So what they mean by upper air weather patterns means the jet stream. Excuse me. So it's basically it is blocked. It is just sitting there, stuck. It needs something to push it out, or something to break the cap. So the term is often overextended in media terminology. Yes, it is. So again, this is also called a ridge of high pressure, a high pressure system. There's many different terminology for this type of thing, but heat dome is what is used mainly out in like the media and things of that nature. So and it kind of gets the point more across of what's happening to that. So and to refer uh, and they say to refer to any heat wave situation, but again, heat wave and heat dome are different, and we will get into that. So, and they as they are periods of excessively hot weather, not necessarily caused by such stationary high pressure systems. Yes. So again, we will get into heat waves, so I'm not gonna talk about that right now. The term heat dome is also used in the context of of urban heat islands. So if you've never heard of UHIs, urban heat islands, I will come back to that because there's a huge point that I want to point out about what happens when heat domes build. I want to talk about UHIs, just to help you guys understand what happens inside of density cities when city or inside of cities that are very dense. So like Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, just any city that's very dense and built up with large buildings and skyscrapers and things of like that. So I will talk to you about UHIs, and maybe it's something that you did not know about. So again, what are the characteristics? So heat domes are typically associated with minimal cloud cover and clear skies. Yes. So if you are ever under a heat dome, you basically are going to be clear skies the whole time. So the sun is just baking you. It's baking the ground. It's baking the pavement. It's baking the buildings. You're going to have very minimal cloud cover in that. So, which allow unhindered penetration of solar radiation to Earth's surface, sun, sun rays, sun radiation, Earth's surface, thereby intensifying overall pressure. So again, there's nothing blocking the sun's rays from getting through. It's unhindered, it's unimpeded. They also cover a large geographical area with higher atmospheric pressure than the surrounding regions. Yes, so heat domes can be over thousands of miles wide. So that's why they affect people like me in Chicago. That's why they can affect somebody also in St. Louis. They can affect somebody over in, Cincinnati, Ohio, down in Kentucky, other places as well. So these things can go for thousands of miles and affect, within a radius. So it's not just affecting one area; it's affecting millions and millions and millions of people. When it comes to this, that's why a lot of times on the news they will run stories about heat domes and then also heat waves as well because it affects so many people. So the high atmospheric pressure, again, it's a high pressure system, acts like a lid on the atmosphere, again, like I talked about, and causes warm air to be pushed to the surface, holding it there over an extended duration. So, again, what's happening is that the air, the heat is being pushed down back towards the surface. There's a lid. It's just saying you're not going to get through the lid today. So it just keeps pushing the hot air back down. So heat domes maximize heating of the earth by allowing sunlight to penetrate to the earth's surface, like we talked about. That's what's going on. There's no cloud cover, there's no precipitation, there's no convection, there's nothing that's blocking the sun's radiation from coming through. It's all like, again, it's unimpeded and it's unhindered. So that's why it gets so hot because things are just baking out there all day long. So this gives you a pretty good picture of what's happening. And again, this is why I also chose Wikipedia as well, because they had a pretty good picture here to paint that. So I'm going to talk about the picture first, and then I'll jump into the formation. So, one, warm air builds up in dry, still summer conditions. So again, the high pressure, we have warm air that's built up. The high pressure has built that warm air up all around us. Two, the high pressure pushes warm air down. So not only does it's building all of it up because it's a high pressure, it builds it and pushes it back down. And then the air is compressed and it heats up more. So the closer it gets back down to the ground, it's being compressed. So it keeps getting compressed and compressed and compressed and compressed, and it has nowhere to go. So again, you got three things that are going on. You got the warm air that is built up in the dry summer conditions. The high pressure pushes that warm air back down towards the ground, and then as it comes back down towards the ground, it gets compressed because of the atmospheric conditions. So that, and then it just builds this dome, this huge dome. over thousands and thousands of miles. So heat domes can arise in still and dry summer conditions when a massive warm air builds up and a high pressure from the Earth's atmosphere pushes the warm air down. So again, just to reiterate that and go through that again. The air is then compressed, and as its net heat is now in a smaller volume because now it's compressed. So now we have all this heat in tiny, tiny, smaller volumes. It increases in temperature. So as it's getting compressed and smaller, the temperature actually increases because due to that constricting. As warm air attempts to rise, the high pressure dome above it acts as a cap, forcing the air downward and causing it to get hotter and hotter, resulting in increased pressure below the dome. So again, that's what's happening. The high pressure has built the dome. The air tries to start to rise, and then the high pressure says, "No, you're not going to come out of this dome. I'm just going to keep pushing you back down." So that is what's happening with the high pressure system. So increases in sea surface temperatures across the North Pacific, particularly off the coast of Washington, Oregon, and British Columbia, create favorable conditions for the formation of high pressure domes, which can lead to the development of heat domes. So, some of the increasing, this is true when it comes to climatology and when it comes to climate change. There is empirical evidence and there is data that does point to this. So this is true. So increases again in sea surface temperature across the North Pacific do actually play in the creation of heat domes. So, and then to talk a little bit about climate change, I don't really want to jump into that a little bit. I know that's kind of a sore subject on some people at times, but just to kind of briefly skim it, studies indicate that human-induced climate change plays a significant role in the formation of heat domes, as heat domes are more likely to occur in higher atmospheric temperatures. The occurrence of heat domes contributes to the positive feedback loop of increased climate change by resulting in overall higher atmospheric temperatures. So again, I'm not going to beat the drum to that. So, and then, so there are also other weather events too that heat domes kind of coincide with when it comes to things. So, but any questions before I move on to the effects? Any questions, comments, concerns, any type of feedback that you want to provide? So please let me know if you have any questions or anything like that. So definitely want to answer any questions if you guys have any before I move on to the effects. And thank you, Debbie, for being here. Debbie is a huge supporter. Debbie is a huge encourager. Very thankful for Debbie being here. Thank you so much, Debbie. Thank you for all your support. So, but please let me know if you have any questions from what you have learned so far about what a heat dome is. So definitely let me know in the comments, and I will do my best to answer any and all of your questions like always. So very thankful again for all of you. Very thankful. All of your questions, all of your insights. So please let me know. So we'll move on to effects. So heat domes coincide with stagnant atmospheric conditions, exacerbating air quality issues. So here in Chicago right now, we have air quality alert because again, what's going on? There's no rain, there's no cloud covers, there's nothing. So everything is just super hot. So now we got smog. Now we got we can get definitely smog. We can get other air type of pollution going on because there's nothing for really all that the air quality to escape as well either. There's no high winds that are blowing. The winds are very steady. Like if so, right now, currently, like the winds have there's been like no wind hardly for the past 3 days, and that is another sore point for high pressure systems. There's just no wind. There's no the wind is basically the wind is basically blocked at this point as well too. So the wind's not carrying any of um, wind's not carrying away any type of pollution, air pollution. So there's nothing that's flowing, upstream or downstream from the wind. So the wind's very still. So that's why here in Chicago we have an air quality alert going on right now, as I think other places do as well. So again, you need the wind to help carry pollution and stuff away from cities and away from vehicles and everything else. And when everything's just baking and it's not moving hardly at all, that's when the air quality becomes worse and worse. So, what you'll get into here. So heat domes, yes. So common byproducts include increased smog and pollution level. Yes, it's just because again, it's so hot, the air is being compressed and pushed back down, and there's no wind to help even alleviate some of that at all. You might get a few breezes here and there, but you're not going to have much wind over 5 to 10 miles per hour. It's just going to be very still for a very long time. So it's the part of how it's the byproduct and it's the character of how high pressure systems act and how they work. So high pressure systems are good in ways because they bring clear and they bring nice sunny days and things of that nature. But when they stay stagnant and they don't move, that's when the heat domes start to set in. So that's when things start to get a little bit wild compared just to a normal high pressure sitting around for a couple of days and then moving out and being pushed out by the jet stream. That's what it is. But when they become stagnant and become stationary, so words you will hear on TV, like if you're watching weather, they'll say we have a stationary high pressure system, we have a stationary ridge. So stagnant is also another word as well that is used. But stationary is more commonly used out there in the media. So, um, heat domes can intensify heat waves, which is true. Which again, we will get into heat waves after this. Um, by interacting with other weather systems such as frontal boundaries. That is true, very true. They can also contribute to drought, yes, because again, there's no rain. So if you haven't had any rain for a long time, and now you've got a heat dome set up, well, now you're not getting any rain for another, 4 or 5 days or possibly weeks. Sometimes heat domes can last for weeks. So it all just depends. It all just depends when that jet stream becomes stronger and it dips back down to the south, so it can start pushing the jet stream off to the east. So again, the jet stream plays a huge role in these heat domes. So drought is yes as well, and that's just going to talk about heat domes in like Central California and things of that nature. So looks like Mom Cook. Oh, welcome in, Mom Cook. Thank you for being in here. Appreciate that. Thank you. Mom Cook says, "Sorry, didn't finish my question." Where did it go? Let me go back and find your question here. Sorry, didn't finish my question. It seems very humid when it's really hot. Would that be under a heat dome? Um, Depends. I mean, humidity, is moisture in the air. Uh, but it can also feel very, again, so humidity builds. Um, that is the moisture that is in the air. So when it's humid out, you will feel more like if you walk outside, your clothes will kind of start to stick to you, and you'll start sweating a lot faster than if you were just like if you walked into the same environment, say in Arizona or somewhere else. So humidity is adding more of that moisture to the atmosphere. So that's why you feel your shirts will start sticking to you, your clothes will start sticking to you, you'll feel sweaty real quickly. So yes, it could be a byproduct of that as well. But yes, it is. It has been humid here as well. So not always. It won't always be extremely humid in heat domes. But it could be. So it's not a really a one size fits all type of product when it comes to humidity as well. So humidity can be a byproduct of it, but sometimes it might not be a byproduct of it as well. But a lot of times, just because it's so hot, it will feel humid. Just because you're like, oh man, this heat is just oppressive, right? But remember, there is the heat is being pushed back down, and the heat is being compressed. So, and that is right towards the surface. So we're talking like ground level. We're talking like around pavement level, concrete level, things of that. So when it's being compressed and pushed back down, again, those little, because it's being compressed, the temperature feels hotter. So it will kind of almost naturally just feel more humid to us just because of how close that the heat is to our bodies when it comes to that. So, but yes, it could feel more humid, and that could be one reason why. But from what I've seen, I haven't really ever seen any like, if the heat's building up today, there's going to be, now it's going to be more humid. And so now it's going to be, a heat index, 15 or 10 to 15 degrees warmer than what the actual air temperature is. So, but yes, it will definitely feel. I do believe it would definitely feel hotter though, just because of how that air is being compressed and so close to the surface, and with our bodies being close to the surface, because the average height is like five. What in between 5'7" and 6 foot or something, maybe 5'5" for a woman. So you think about that, we're only roughly about 5.5 feet to 6 feet off the ground. So with that being so um, densely close to us, it's just naturally going to feel like we're in an oven, right? Then and it does. I mean, I was outside today, and it just felt like as soon as I opened the door up, it was like it's like opening up the door to the oven, right? When you preheat the oven and you open the door up, and and it hits you in the face. That was just like today as well. So, and again, when you are preheating your oven and everything else, you have all that heat, but all that heat again is kind of like a heat dome, right? All the heat is stuck inside of that small little space inside your oven. So when you open that door, the only place for it to go is that small little space is directly right right into your face and everything else. So even your oven kind of acts like a heat dome. Its own personal one, that is. So but yes, so again, hopefully, but to answer that, to give you a little bit more in depth and a little bit more knowledge of that, it can feel like it's more humid, but it also, but as far as it being relatively like tied in a byproduct of it, I haven't really ever seen, at least in my teachings and in my learning and in my schooling and things of that nature, I haven't seen anything kind of that has ever pointed to saying, oh, it's going to be way more humid just because we're underneath the heat dome. But again, I could be wrong. But again, that's what just in my schooling and things that I've been taught, to my knowledge, um, humidity does is not really a byproduct of that. So hopefully they answered your question, Mom Cook. Hopefully that gives you a little bit more insight into what's happening there and why you do feel a lot hotter, and everything. So hopefully that kind of gives you a little bit more insight there. So of what's happening. So, but again, so what else is going on? So previous heat domes have been leaked to widespread tree damage, primarily due to high solar air radiation, alongside foliar scorching as a result of heat stress, the evolutionary creation and success of heat resistant foliar species. were byproducts of heat domes. So again, this is getting a little bit more into the ecosystem of how heat domes can actually affect vegetation. They can affect trees. They can affect soil. So this is just talking a little bit more about a little bit more of the ecosystem of what's happening. So not only is it affecting us humans, it's also affecting crops and plants and trees and everything else around us as well too. Again, because there's no moisture, there's no convection, there's no precipitation. So again, everything is just getting baked hot, and it's getting hotter as you get down to the surface. Uh, so, and again, and then I will talk a little bit about that as we will come back up to what's called those urban heating islands. So when it comes to that, so heat domes increase the thermal stress. Yes, they do, of organisms living in intertidal ecosystems, a factor that has previously led to deaths of marine species during the 2021 North American heat dome. So yes, it can affect marine species as well. So not only again is it affecting us, it's affecting marine species, it's affecting vegetation, it's affecting trees, it's affecting all of that. So we're not the only ones who are suffering from it when it comes to heat domes. So when it comes to that, so the occurrence of heat domes have contributed to increasing climate change concerns. Yeah, we talked a little bit about this. This was particularly demonstrated among British Columbians, uh, who in previous studies displayed higher levels of climate change anxiety following the 2021 North American heat dome. Um, Heat domes put communities at risk of increased mortality rates. Deaths resulting from heat domes are more likely to impact susceptible and marginalized populations who are less likely to have access to air conditioning living spaces. So, Debbie points out here, thank you, Debbie. Debbie makes a great point. Debbie says it's affecting animals in rivers and creeks. Yes, it's affecting animals, mammals, creeks, rivers, streams, all that. So yes, definitely everything and everybody is being affected at the same time by these heat domes. So when it comes to that, so again, let's talking a little bit about. This is a little bit about examples. So the 2025. So this is last year. Last year, I don't know if you guys remember this. Last year, Europe had a very, very nasty heat wave, and attributed to a heat dome. They had a heat wave, but the main thing was the heat dome that was in place, and it caused and it says inhuman cause climate change is likely. Okay. Uh, and then there's also in 2021 the Western North American heat dome. Um, One man show says, "Is that what happened in Europe with the fatalities at heat dome?" Yes, yes, that is the main thing that happened last year. One man show, the heat dome set up in place. So once it set up in place, it did not get pushed anywhere. Again, a ridge of high pressure built in. Jet stream. There was no the jet stream went around it, so there was nothing to push that ridge of high pressure, that heat dome, from moving anywhere. So, but yes, so the heat dome got built up. Um, the heat dome got built up. It couldn't go anywhere, and it just smothered Europe, like all over Europe. And unfortunately, there was a lot of people that lost their lives there in Europe from that. So the heat dome then coincided with a heat wave. So, but the main thing was a heat dome setup, and then we will talk about what is defined as a heat wave, to not be confused. But the heat dome is what usually causes the most damage, what causes the most, unfortunately, um, like bad side of things that happen from the heat. It's usually because that heat dome is in place. So, because you can have a heat wave without a heat dome. So that's it. That's how it works. So, um, and that's so not to get the two confused. And again, I will get into that here in a little bit. So it's going to talk about the 2021 North American heat dome that was set up as well. it resulted in agricultural losses of exceeding 600 million um, in the Pacific Northwest alone, devastating fruit crops and causing widespread livestock mortality that affected regional food supplies for several months. So, again, if the heat dome is causing massive, unfortunately, fatalities to pigs and cows and everything else, how we get hamburger and how we get pork and how we get everything else. Well, if it's causing mass of that and that's unforeseen, then obviously the food supply um, um, starts to dwindle a little bit. So that can create some supply chain shortages when it comes to that. So heat domes again can wreak havoc on our own food supply and in multiple ways, destroying crops and then also unfortunately destroying animals that provide us with some of that food supply. So not a good thing when it comes to that. So there could be a domino effect. There have been domino effects where in the supply chain, having something of less of something means you're going to have something less of something in the supply chain, as well as it flows down. So it's a domino effect. Uh, so it's just a byproduct. If we have less cows, we're going to have less hamburger in the stores. It's a domino effect that is seen. So they further emphasize urgency addressing climate change in order to reduce the occurrence of severity of such events. Addressing, um, Debbie says it can cause power outages even when it's really hot and people don't expect it. Yes, that is a great point too. That is a great point too, Debbie, as well. Yes, if it's so hot, it's draining the energy, right? It's draining the grid. A lot of times, if it's putting a lot of strain on the grid, sometimes the electric companies will do what are called rolling brownouts and rolling blackouts as well. Um, so a rolling brownout is where they just reduce your energy, like the energy that is provided to your house. They reduce that down um, to like a bare minimum, to where like it's just supplied your house um, enough for like appliances to work and things like that. So they're reducing the consumption. So that's called a rolling brownout. Or a rolling blackout is obviously a blackout means they're killing your electricity, they're killing people's electricity around, and everybody's blacked out, for a certain amount of time, in order to save that electricity on the power grid. So or to reduce the strain of electricity on the power grid. So sometimes companies do rolling brownouts and rolling blackouts in order to reduce that stress. So when it comes to that, yes, but definitely. One Man Show says, "Wow, that is interesting, Debbie. Did not know that. I got another thing to share with my crew." Yes, heat can play a big role in uh, they can also yes, heat domes play a huge role in electricity consumption as well. So again, because you need rain, you need to help. The best to my knowledge about electricity grids, I'm not a expert in electricity grids, but I do know that there is something to do with rain that is needed. To help maintain that grid. There's something to do with heat that just it does not work well with. So but I'm sure Google will obviously be able to explain that better than what I know. But that's just what I know on the surface. But I just know that companies will do brownouts or rolling brownouts and rolling blackouts in order to conserve that energy being used. So I just saw a question from Mom Cook. Mom Cook says, do heat domes also cause water shortages because of lower water levels? Yes, the great point. They can for sure. So again, now we're getting into droughts, right? So again, heat domes can cause droughts. Even if even maybe if you were leaning towards droughts, maybe if you were close to becoming in a um, becoming in a drought. What do you want to call it? Definition of what a drought is. But yes, heat domes can, yeah, can definitely attribute to droughts, or to droughts, and can definitely attribute to low levels of water. So, again, because all that water, water doesn't like heat, right? So the more heat that water takes on, water can dry up, right? So water does not like heat at all. Um, Especially like in creeks and in low-lying rivers and things of that, right? So like if a heat dome set in and you had a creek that was flowing pretty decent before that, and then you go look at that creek, 4 or 5 days later, and you're like, well, what happened to the creek? And you're like, well, it got dried up. That's all that hot air on the surface just sucked all of that water, and evaporated, that water. So basically, again, like creeks, streams, maybe some other low line, like again, like rivers, things of that nature. But even just the water supply, maybe in cities as well, depending on how long heat dome lasts for. You can start to have problems in cities as well, because cities obviously only can run on a certain amount of reserved water supply and things of that. So cities obviously rely on rain to keep that water supply fresh and keep that going. So yes, even some cities, especially some smaller ones, like some smaller towns who might not have a lot of reservoirs, or they might not have any type of backup systems. So yeah, you can definitely heat domes can play a huge, huge role in low level waters and things of that. So definitely when it comes to that. So yes, but great question, Mom Cook. That is 100% true. Yes, they can. Mom Cook says I have a shallow well and lost water for 6 weeks last summer fall, and wow. So yeah, that could be maybe because of a drought. Maybe you didn't have a lot of rain, a lot of the heat, a heat dome. Maybe was set up over last year. I don't know where you're at. I don't know where you're located at, but yes, definitely. It definitely heat domes can play to that. So, because in heat domes, you're just not going to get any rain. You're not going to get no rain. You're not going to get any clouds. You're going to get very minimal clouds. And besides all that, again, when there's no rain, then drought sets in. So if you're looking for rain, it's not the heat dome is not going to be your friend. So when it comes to that, oh, cool. Mom Cook is from Canada. That's awesome. I did not know that. Oh, sweet. So she is in southern Quebec, Canada. That is awesome. Well, thank you for being here, Mom Cook. Very awesome. Thank you so much. I do know Canada is prone, and this is going to be one of my things coming up soon too. Is going to be about wildfires. That's going to be one that's going to be coming up soon uh, to teach. That's going to be one a session because the West here in the United States is prone to severe wildfires, and I know Canada is also prone to wildfires as well. And a lot of the smoke from Canada, it can be carried and does get carried into the U.S. Uh, so you can see it on satellite. You can obviously see it in person. But yeah, so look forward to that one. That's going to be, and that's in the pipeline to come down the line here sometime shortly. So about wildfires. Um, but nonetheless, so we get back on track here. In 2021, a record-breaking heat dome based in British Columbia caused 595 community deaths and a record for similar atmospheric events. Most households in the broader Vancouver lack air conditioning. So again, this is what happens. This is huge, and we'll talk about this. So, if you're inside of a heat dome and you do not have AC, remember your body needs to cool and it needs to stay cool. So we will talk about that when we get into the heat related illnesses and things of that nature. So when it comes to that, and it's but again, our bodies must stay below a certain point in order to keep itself cool. And well, again, we'll talk about that. So, and AC is what helps us obviously stay cool, resulting in individuals being highly susceptible to deaths caused by heat, such as heat exhaustion and heat stroke. And we will talk about both of those. The study on this event emphasizes the importance of public health and providing more air conditioning and urban green spaces. Persistent heat dome led to extensive wildfires. So again, not heat domes. Okay, can heat domes again can attribute to droughts? Well, then if you're drought, right, the grass is not wet, everything's dry, everything's brittle, everything is just ready to explode. So so what happens is that if you get a spark and then bam, now you got a huge wildfire on your hand because there's nothing it's just ready to go. It's ready to explode. And so yes, so heat domes cause many other different things as well. So and thank you, Luciana, for subscribing. Thank you so much uh, for being a subscriber on YouTube. Highly, highly appreciate that. So welcome in, Luciana. Thank you. Appreciate your subscribing. Appreciate you putting your trust in me. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. When it comes to that, so again, so persistent heat domes can lead to again wildfires, crop failures, and a surge in mortality rates during uh, or led to, I'm sorry, in during the Russian heat wave in 2010. The far-reaching consequences of this event affected by outcome and social factors reverberated globally, impacting the interconnectedness of regional weather phenomena in agricultural markets. So, again, if you are underneath the heat dome, and let's say you're not a well built up country, or just maybe wherever you're living at is you don't have AC, you don't have adequate air, there are a lot of problems that can happen to you if you don't receive or get yourself in that air that you need. Uh, so, yes, it can be deadly and fatal to, unfortunately, a lot of people who lack air conditioning and who lack the amount of cool air that our bodies require. So when it comes to that, so this is going to talk about some heat waves and stuff, and we will get into the heat waves and everything else when it comes to that. So I want to talk though, and before I get into it, let me know if you have any. I want to talk about urban heat islands. And I want to talk to you about what that is and how cities actually turn themselves into heat islands. The urban is just used because it's urban means a centralized city. So like Chicago's, the urban Chicago, urban Los Angeles, just urban, means around the city. So, but again, I want to show you and tell you why and how cities actually turn themselves into heat islands that make things worse during heat domes. So, but if you have any questions, please let me know. Questions, comments, anything like that, definitely want to answer anything that you have, going on. Any questions, anything like that, before I jump into an urban heat island and how buildings and how skyscrapers actually make cities hotter when it comes to that. So, and a great example that I will talk to you about is the 1995 heat wave that struck Chicago. And so, unfortunately, a deadly heat wave that struck. So, when it comes to that. So, if you have any questions, let me know. Let me know. I'll give it a few minutes here. I'll give it a minute or a few minutes or so, and then we will jump into an urban heat island. Uh, so again, that will give me time here to welcome in everybody who is watching on Twitch. Welcome in everybody who's watching on YouTube. Welcome in everybody who's watching on Facebook. Welcome in everybody who is watching on Kick. Thank you for everybody who is watching across multiple platforms. Thank you to everybody for your questions, for your enthusiasm, for being inquisitive. Thank you guys so much for your support and for your encouragement. Highly appreciate that. So, again, welcome to John Boy Severe Weather Lab and Education. We're here on my channel. You will find educational teachings. You will find about weather from all different types of weather phenomenon, ranging from tornadoes to hail to earthquakes, and I got a bunch more in the pipeline, like hurricanes, wildfires, and things of that nature. Um, so please please subscribe, please share if you enjoy my content. And if you do not enjoy my content, I appreciate you being here and checking me out and giving me a chance. So I really do appreciate that. I know that I cannot or will not suffice to all to all of you. I will not be what everybody I won't be able to please everybody. So but I am thankful for people who are here and at least giving me a chance and checking me out. So when it comes to that, so yes, so please please subscribe, please share if you do enjoy my content. And again, if you are new here, here in the John Boy Severe Weather Lab and Education, you will find educational videos regarding weather, and you will also find live severe weather coverage. So that is also part of my channel as well. So not only am I going to provide you with live severe weather coverage, I'm also going to provide you with educational teachings regarding weather and everything else when it comes to that. So it's a win-win for me, and it's a win-win for you. And like One Man Show says here, thank you, brother, so much. One Man Show says, and you will find out about Jesus here too. Thank you, John Boy. Yes, amen to that. One Man Show. That is the number one priority. Is to spread the gospel, is to keep the gospel at the forefront. So yes, that is the number one thing regarding about my channel is spreading the gospel of Jesus. So very thankful for that opportunity, and thankful for One Man Show for pointing that out. Very awesome. So thank you, One Man Show. Thank you so much for that. So with that being said, we're going to jump into an urban heat islands. So what that means is, what an urban heat island means, it just means, it doesn't actually mean an island. It just means a city. But so it's kind of a term that is just used to say, oh, sometimes Chicago acts like an urban heat island, and it does. Sometimes Los Angeles acts like an urban heat island, and it does. So we will get into that as to how that operates, and how having such buildings, tall buildings, smaller buildings in a dense place, how that affects the temperature around. So if you were to go into Chicago City and you feel like, oh wow, it feels hotter here than what it does outside in the rural city. So again, that is something you would find. So if you on a hot day, if you were to go into a city, a city that's very dense, it's got a lot of skyscrapers, got a lot of buildings and everything around, you would actually feel hotter inside that city than what you would in the rural, where there's no skyscrapers, where there's no buildings and things like that around. And I will get into why, the science behind that, as to why that is for when it comes to that. But first, Mom Cook has a very great message here. The fact that you love Jesus is the reason I like your channel. God bless you. Thank you, Mom Cook. Yes, I do. I do my best to show that. I do my best to always portray that. I'm very bold for Jesus, and again, because He is always bold for me, and so I am completely unashamed and completely unapologetic for loving Jesus and keeping Jesus at the forefront. So our boldness, again, we should always be bold. In my mind, we should always be bold for Jesus as He is always bold for us. So, but yes, so very thankful for that. Thank you, Mom Cook. I definitely appreciate that. So, let's jump in. The urban heat island effect is a meteorological and climatological phenomenon in which urban areas experience significantly warmer temperatures than surrounding rural areas. So again, as I mentioned, so we will talk about how this actually acts as a urban heat island. What's going on? So the temperature difference is usually larger at night than during the day, and is most apparent when winds are weak. So again, we're in a heat dome. There's no winds. There's like hardly any winds at all. Now I know Chicago is known as a windy city, but that is very few and far and in between. But so again, when the heat dome sets up, Chicago is not very windy at all. So what's happening in Chicago right now? Like actually downtown Chicago right now. So there's hardly any wind. It's a heat dome. So not only is the air being compressed down to the ground, and it's getting hotter and hotter as it gets down to the ground, it has nowhere to go still because obviously there's a lid and cap on with the dome, but it's also the buildings and the pavement and everything else is radiating the heat as well. So not only are you getting the heat from just the atmospheric conditions, now you're starting to get in urban areas. Now you are starting to get radiating heat from pavement, from buildings, and from roofs, and from everything else in this densely populated city area. So again, now you're getting heat from all different directions. So again, this is what is turning Chicago and other places that are underneath the heat dome into a heat island. So, in the most apparent when winds are weak under block conditions, noticeably during the summer and winter. The main cause of the UHI effect is from the modification of land surfaces, while waste heat generated by energy is a secondary contributor. Urban areas occupy about 0.5% of the Earth's land surface, but host more than half of the world's population. So again, most people live around Chicago, most people live around Vancouver, most people live around LA, most people live around New York City. That's just what it's saying, what it's getting into here. As a population center grows, it tends to expand its area and increase its average temperature. The term heat island is also used. The term can be used to refer to any area that is relatively hotter than the surrounding, but generally refers to human disturbed areas. And so monthly rainfall, we get into a little bit about this. So monthly rainfall is greater downwind of cities, particularly due to the UHI. Increases in heat within urban centers increase the length of growing seasons. Decrease air quality by increasing the production of pollutants such as ozone, which I think a lot of us are all familiar with the ozone layer. They always tell us to protect the ozone layer as best as we can. When it comes to that, so and decrease water quality as warmer waters flow into the area streams and put stress on their ecosystem. So, not all cities have a distinct urban heat island, and the heat island characteristics depend strongly on the background climate of the area where the city is located. So the impact on a city can significantly change based on its local environment. Heat can be reduced by tree cover and green space, which act as sources of shade and promote evaporating cooling. But if you're like Chicago, there is no tree space. There is no trees that is helping Chicago out. I mean, there are some trees along the um, of course, like um, Lakeshore Drive and things of that nature. But as you get like into the city, like there's no trees that are blocking, and providing shade or nothing like that. So trees are few far in between when we're talking about downtown Chicago. When it comes to that, and then other options include green roofs, passive daytime radiative cooling applications, ventilation corridors, and the use of light-colored surfaces and less absorptive building materials. These reflect more sunlight and absorb less heat. So, if you've ever been to like Southern California, or you've been to somewhere where it's just hot like all the time, if you notice, a lot of the houses um, will be painted the same color. Because what is that doing? That is reflecting, or what is that? What that it is? It's reflecting more of the sunlight, and so it's absorbing less heat. So a lot of the houses in places like Arizona and Southern California and stuff like that, they will have pretty much the same color paint on majority of the houses, because that helps again reflect the sunlight and absorb less heat. Same with the roofs. Same with the roofs as well. So when it comes to that, we got Chasing for a Cause in here. Thank you, Chasing, for being in here. Definitely appreciate you. And let me give her a shout out. If you have not subscribed to Chasing for a Cause, please subscribe to her channel. So please help her out with that. So please subscribe to Chasing for a Cause. So when it comes to that, looks like she still needs 17. So we can hopefully get her up a few here still, if anybody who in here has not subscribed to her. So please check out Chasing for a Cause on YouTube. But yes, so very thankful to promote Chasing for a Cause and give her a shout out here. When it comes to that, so climate change is not the cause of urban heat islands, but it is causing more frequent and more intense heat waves. Again, we'll get into heat waves shortly. So, which in turn amplify the urban heat island effect in cities. Compact and dense urban development may also increase the urban heat island effect, leading to higher temperatures and increased exposure. So again, urban development is helping this. So definition, what is the definition of an urban heat island? Well, the definition of an urban heat island is the relative warmth of a city compared to the surrounding rural areas. The relative warmth is caused by heat trapping due to land use, the configuration and design of the built environment, including street layout and building size, the heat absorbing properties of urban building materials, reduced ventilation, reduced greenery and water features, and domestic and industrial heat emissions generated directly from human activities. So again, what's happening? So what's happening is, what's happening here, like especially like in Chicago and things that places. So you got reduced greenage, you got reduced materials, reduced greenery materials. You've got tall skyscrapers. You got tall buildings, maybe not labeled skyscrapers. They have also, so you have reduced ventilation across that. And then you have, you have reduced greenery and things of that nature. So when you have something like that, and you have a city like that in Chicago and other major cities as well, it is creating a heat island. So it's actually absorbing more heat than dispelling it. It's absorbing more heat, which sometimes at night can be about a 4-degree difference. Now you're probably thinking, well, 4 degrees is not really that much, but really it is in terms of heat that's being dissipated, especially at nighttime. Um, because at nighttime our bodies are more expected to cool down. We expect everything to cool down at nighttime, uh, but um, but nonetheless, urban heat islands actually keep that heat more intact and at night. So, and it actually raises the temperature than what you would find in just a rural area, 10, 20 miles down the road or something. So, 4 degrees can be a huge difference to a lot of people when it comes to that. So, not going to get into diurnal variability. Not going to bore you with that when it comes to that. So, there is actually a heat index when it comes to that. There is situation. There is, and we just get into the causes. So I talked about the causes of it. It's the pavement heating up. It's the concrete heating up. It's the buildings actually trapping the heat in as well too, and creating and radiating more of the heat as well. So again, pavements, parking lots, things of that nature. Um, Anything that can absorb heat and doesn't dispel it creates more of a heat environment, more of a heat when it comes to that. So yeah, we talked about air pollution, poor landscaping, things of that nature. So what happened? So what happened a lot? So in Chicago in 1995, um, during the heat wave, um, during the heat wave in 1995, there's unfortunately quite a few. I think it was like about 600, I believe, people, 600 to 700 people. I do believe passed away in that. I'll get back to that shortly. Mom Cook says, "Sorry, folks, I have to leave. It's getting late here. God bless you all. Really enjoy the chat and lessons learned." Thank you, Mom Cook. You are a great supporter. You are a great encourager. Thank you for being in here. Thank you for just everything. Thank you for trusting in me, and God bless you as well. Thank you so much for that. So, when it comes to that, so very thankful for Mom Cook. So, again, not going to get into all this. Not going to, but just give you an example. Just wanted to talk a lot about what happened there with uh, the Chicago heat wave in 1995 is what acted as it actually acted as an urban the buildings, the pavement, the lack of greenery, the lack of trees, the lack of ventilation, the lack of air conditioning, the lack of a lot of different things. Actually, Chicago actually turned into an urban heat island where it actually, uh, besides the actual temperature outside, the heat actually rose. It actually made it feel even hotter in the city. So again, cities actually can, or do and will become hotter, due to skyscrapers, buildings, pavement, concrete, a lack of water supply, lack of greenery, lack of trees, lack of that. But the main thing, if you're downtown, it's because you have the tall buildings and you have the concrete and the pavement just soaking up and absorbing all that heat, and it has nowhere to go. So that's why cities turn into what are called urban heat islands, and they can obviously be deadly, unfortunately, when it comes to that. So if you ever go downtown to a city and you're like, whoa, this feels a little bit hotter than where I just came from, say 10 miles, 20 miles out in the world, that is why. It is because all that heat is trapped down there between those buildings. It has nowhere to go. So yes. So that is urban heat islands. So that's going to be part one of today's lesson. That is heat dome mixed in with urban heat island. So any questions regarding a heat dome, urban heat island, anything like that? Give it a few minutes here. If you have any questions, please ask. So I just want to welcome in everybody who's watching on Twitch, everybody who is watching on YouTube, everybody who's watching on Facebook, and everybody who is watching on Kick. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for relying on me for some great weather education and some teaching. So definitely um, love teaching you guys. I definitely love just being able to help you guys learn some more, and you guys help me as well. So again, welcome everybody in to the John Boy Severe Weather Lab and Education. And if you're new here, please like, please subscribe, and please share. I really, really do appreciate that. It does help with the algorithms, and it does help me grow my platform across all these multiple platforms. So I'm very blessed to do this and to teach all of you. So again, welcome to John Boy Severe Weather Lab and Education, where you will find live severe weather coverage as well as live teachings when it comes to weather and some other things as well. So very happy to do it. So please let me know if you have any comments, if you have anything in the chat, anything you want to discuss before I move on to heat wave, and we'll jump into heat wave and learn a little bit about some heat wave action that's going on. So please let me know. Please let me know. Really do appreciate that. Because you guys are all awesome. And again, thank you to everybody who's watching on Twitch. Thank you to everybody who's watching on YouTube, and thank you to everybody who's watching on Kick, and to everybody who's watching on Facebook. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome, and it's still super hot here in Chicago. Very, very hot. Very blessed to have air conditioning. Very thankful for air conditioning, especially at a time like this. I don't really know how people, and I did it when I was younger, did not have AC when I was younger. I know I did not have AC when I was younger, so we would just have, and who remembers box fans and oscillating fans, and and a lot of times those fans, all they would do was just make things hotter. So it wasn't really good. So who remembers those? But looks like we have Rising Fire Phoenix in the chat. Thank you, Rising Fire, for being here. Thank you so much. I did just teach part one. So I did just teach part one of heat dome, what a heat dome is, the science behind them, and everything else. So I am about to move on to part two, which part two is we're going to learn about heat wave and understand what a heat wave is and what actually the definition of a heat wave is, and some good old science behind that as well. So, but thank you, Rising Fire Phoenix 5017, for being in here, and I really do appreciate your support and your encouragement. So thank you so much. Very awesome stuff. So when it comes to that, so very, very awesome. So that being said, we are going to look at what is a heat wave. Well, a lot of us have always heard, we've heard the term heat wave, right? But what is actually defined as a heat wave, right? Because there is an actual definition that the NWS uses. So sometimes a heat wave kind of gets misused. Like people just say, "Oh, it's hot today. It's super hot. So the next couple of days is gonna be super hot. It's gonna be like a mini heat wave. It's gonna be this." But really, it's kind of misused because it actually doesn't follow the definition of what the National Weather Service actually uses. And I've been guilty of that as well as saying that. But yes, there there's an actual definition that is defined that the NWS goes by and uses. So the short answer, so let's keep things kind of at a 60,000 foot view level right now. A heat wave is a period of unusually hot weather that typically lasts 2 or more days. So that's it. It's only got to be 2 or more days. So right now, that's one criteria that has to be met. It has to be 2 or more days. That's it. But to be considered a heat wave, the temperatures have to be outside the historical averages for a given area. So they have to be outside of the historical given averages. So it has to be 2 days and it has to be outside of the historical given averages in order to be considered a heat wave when it comes to that. So I will read what this little guy is saying here first before I jump into dangerous heat. So again, criteria 1, it's got to be 2 or more days. Criteria 2, it has to be outside of the historical average for a given area. When it comes to that, so what this little, and that's what this little guy is saying here. He's saying a heat wave is simply a period of unusually hot weather that typically lasts 2 or more days. The temperatures have to be outside the historical averages for a given area. So a couple of 95-degree summer days in Maine, for example, might be considered a heat wave if it's outside the historical averages. But a couple of 95-degree summer days in Death Valley would be pretty unremarkable. So yes, so again, it all depends on your geographic location and where you are at. So when it comes to that, so for some, a heat wave might sound like an excuse to run around with a hose or into some sprinklers. A lot of that's happening around here for sure. In reality, though, heat waves are no laughing matter. They are serious weather phenomenon that can be quite dangerous. And we will get into that. You see, there's hot and then there's hot. One example of a hot time was in late June and early July in 2012 in the United States. During that time period, more than 8,000 warm temperature records were broken or tied. So that is a lot of records. Many of these records have been unchanged or had been unchanged or unchallenged since the 1930s. Roads actually buckled in Chicago because it was so hot. Many deaths were attributed to the heat nationwide. So, quite a bit intense heat wave that happened at that time in 2012. So, how do heat waves form? This is going to get more again back into the heat dome as well, as we talked about. So, heat waves are generally the result of trapped air, and it is. Again, so remember that the air is trapped, it can't go anywhere. The ridge of high pressure is pushing the air back down. So the air tries to escape the best it can, but the ridge of high pressure says no. I've got a lid on you. I've got a cap on you. You're not going anywhere right now. So they try to escape, but the ridge of high pressure says no. I'm not going to let you do it. So during the 2012 heat wave, air was trapped above much of North America for a long period of time, as opposed to cycling around the globe. It simply stayed put and warmed the air inside, or warmed like the air inside an oven. So again, it couldn't circle around, it couldn't move, it didn't move, and again, that's what attributed in 2012 to a lot of areas having a heat wave there. But again, it all goes back to air being trapped. The culprit, a high pressure system from Mexico. So again, it's going to be high pressure. Between June 20th and June 23rd, the system migrated north. It grew in size and it parked itself over the Great Plains of the United States. High pressure systems force air downward. This force prevents air near the ground from rising. The sinking air acts like a cap. Yes, it does all the time, that we talked about. It traps warm ground air in place. Without rising air, there is no rain and nothing to prevent the hot air from getting hotter. So again, this does go back into a little bit of the heat dome that we talked about. But that wasn't all. A weather pattern that normally pulls air toward the east was weaker at the time. That meant that there was little that could be done to push this high pressure cap out of the way. So, again, the jet stream just was not pushing it off to the east. And that's what happens again, too, as well in the heat dome. The heat dome is just not pushing the high pressure system off to the east. The jet stream is riding over it when we need the jet stream to come from the east and push it, or maybe come from the west and push it east. So when it comes to that, heat waves like this may be less exciting or dramatic than other natural disasters like tornadoes, hurricanes, flooding, or even thunderstorms, but heat waves kill more people in the United States than all other weather related disasters combined. Who knew that? Did any of you know that? Again, and this is from NOAA. This is taken right from the NOAA website. So this is the Weather Authority. Heat waves kill more people in the United States than all other weather related disasters combined. So if you knew that, um, definitely kudos to you if you did know that. So who in here knew that fact? So remember, heat waves kill more people in the United States than all other related disasters combined, put together. So we're talking about tornadoes, hurricanes, thunderstorms, all of that combined. The heat wave says, I got you beat, combined with all you guys. Floods, all that stuff. So, again, kudos to you if you did know that. That is pretty awesome. If you did know that. But besides that, um, that is why heat related, that is why um, heat related illnesses and heat related injuries happen so much for. And that's why you have to be on the lookout and know the symptoms and know the signs of what those are. So, again, briefly, a heat wave has to be 2 or more days. It's got to be 2 or more days. So, it doesn't have to be very long. Just they're just like, hey, 2 days or more. That's it. So, it's not like 5 days, not like 7 days. They're like, you know what? It's just 2 days or more, and that's a heat wave. But it also has to be outside of the historical average for a given area. So let's say if your average temperature is 82 degrees. Okay, that's your average temperature for the day. Um, then let's say you get 88, you get 90 the next day, you get 91. Technically, that's a heat wave. That's the definition of it. That's literally the definition that NOAA tells us right here. That's the definition. So, again, heat wave, it's used all the time. It's said all the time. Um, but it has to be outside the historical averages for that given area in order for it to count as a heat wave. So, but again, wanted to keep this brief, like a brief section, because this one I think is more talked about a lot. And Rising Phoenix said, I don't know where I heard it from, but I was always under the assumption it was 94 degrees or more. I have never heard that, and that is not true if wherever you heard that from. So, um, again, it is just out of the whatever the average is for your city or your town or your region, whatever. And if it's outside of that, then that's what counts as a heat wave. So a heat wave could be mid 80s. It could be, it could be 90. It could be whatever. It could be that. So when it comes to that, and you can actually have heat waves in the wintertime. as well. So there are times when like the when a when a warm front will come through, and all of a sudden like your average for the day is usually like 35 degrees or 40 degrees, but a warm front will hang around for like 2 or 3 days, so you get like 55, 57, 58 or something, and your normal is like 40 degrees or something. That is actually a heat wave as well when it comes to that. So heat waves just don't happen in the summertime. Heat waves can happen technically all year long. It's just prevalent in the summertime because we assume 90s, and everything super hot, and we just attribute that to being hot. But technically, a heat wave can happen at any time of the year when it comes to that. So but again, it's just more prevalent. It's just more talked about in the summertime because that's when the majority of heat-related illnesses and heat-related injuries take happen because everything is so hot and so oppressed and everything else. So yeah. So again, this is taken right from the NOAA website. So again, they are the weather authority here in the United States. So this is what we go by. This is what us meteorologists, this is what people in the weather community utilize. It's all about NOAA and the AMS as well, but NOAA is the weather authority here in the United States. So again, but just to break it down, a heat wave can happen any time of the year, just as long as it meets this criteria up here. And it's very short. So there are a lot of heat waves technically that aren't talked about because they're not causing like damage. They're not like, they're not causing severe like loss of life or anything like that. So a lot of times the media won't talk about it because it's not oppressive. It gets talked about in the summertime because the heat becomes so oppressive, and it affects a lot of people. So, um, but please let me know if you have any questions about what a heat wave is, how heat wave is defined, and what a heat wave actually is. Um, and again, so with that being said, let me know if you have any questions regarding that. But thank you to everybody who is watching on Twitch. Thank you to everybody who is watching on YouTube. Thank you to everybody who's watching on Kick. And thank you to everybody who is watching on Facebook. I just want to welcome you on accurate weather information and weather data, including live severe weather coverage across the United States. And you also find educational videos to help you if you are a weather buff like myself, meteorologist like myself. If So anything to help all of you. So thank you for being in here. So definitely thank you everybody for being here. And as always, please ask any questions in the comments, and I will always do my best to answer your questions. And if I don't know the answer to your question, I will tell you I do not know the answer to your question. So I will not give you some roundabout answer that I don't know what I'm talking about, because I don't. And I won't ever lead you down the wrong path when it comes to that. So looks like my beautiful wife is in here. So thank you so much, my beautiful penguin, my beautiful wife. Thank you for being strong, being courageous, and being awesome at everything you do. So thank you so much, my beautiful wife, for being in here. You are amazing, and super, super, I'm grateful for you. So, with that being said, so that's part two of tonight's weather session, weather seminar. So we talked about heat dome, we talked about heat wave, and how they differ from each other, because they are different from each other when it sets up. So now we'll take a look at what we should be looking for when it comes to heat related illnesses. And again, these could be life or death. It's imperative that you know the signs and the symptoms if you ever start experiencing these type of symptoms or signs or whatever it may be, because you have to act fast, and don't just shrug it off and say, "Oh, I'll feel better here in a couple minutes." No, no, don't do that. Do not do that. It's better that you call 911 or the ambulance and be wrong than not call them and be wrong. Because if you don't call them and you're wrong, something bad is going to happen to you. So, again, it doesn't hurt to call, it doesn't hurt to make sure you are okay. It doesn't mean you're weak, it does not mean that you're not as strong as somebody else. It just means that you are suffering from heat exhaustion or heat cramps or heat stroke or whatever it may be. So, again, it does not mean you're weak. It does not mean you're weak at all. It just means that that's what you are suffering from. So let's take a look at it. So what are we looking at here? Let me see if I can blow it up here or not. There we go. Might be a little bit better. Let's see if we go to 125. There we go. All right. So if we look into, so if we are looking at, let's take a look at this great graphic here. What's happening here? So we are looking at heat exhaustion on the left-hand side, heat stroke on the right-hand side. So what are some of those symptoms? So what we have are heat exhaustion, dizziness, thirsty, heavy sweating, nausea, weakness. So again, we're talking about heat exhaustion here. Okay, heat exhaustion. Dizziness, thirsty, like you're just completely like, oh, I'm super parched. I need tons of water. I need tons of drinks. Heavy sweating, nausea, and weakness. So what they say to do, and this is taken from the authority, so move to a cooler area, loosen clothing, sip cool water, seek medical help if symptoms don't improve. So when it comes to that, looks like we have Corey Adair in here. Thank you, Corey, for being in here. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Uh, Very thankful for your support and for your encouragement. Thank you for joining in here tonight. Thank you so much. Really highly appreciate that. So, everybody, welcome in Corey, please, and say hello to Corey. So, thank you, Corey, for being in here. So again, heat exhaustion. This could come on quick, right? And we'll talk about this here in a second. But so again, heat exhaustion, and we'll talk about heat cramps as well, which we'll go into. Heat exhaustion, and then the worst of the worst, which is heat stroke when that happens. So talking about heat exhaustion again, move to a cooler area, loosen your clothing, or take your clothing off if you can possibly. Sip cool water. Again, the key word here is sip, because if you are severely hot, right? Like if you're exhausted, you have heat. The very worst thing you want to do is shock your body, and if you will shock your body, if you start drinking too much, like taking big gulps and big drinks of cold water. So what you're doing is you're introducing too much water back in a short amount of time. So that's why sipping is recommended. So sip cool water, not down it and drink it and guzzle it super right away. So Corey says, I have my sound off because the babies are asleep, but I wanted to stop in and say hello, everybody. I'll catch the next one. Awesome. Thank you, Corey, for being in here. I appreciate you stopping in. And again, just for popping in and stopping in. Thank you, Corey. Hope you have a great night. Hopefully you have a blessed night. So God bless you. Thank you very much, Corey, for being in here. So again, The key word here is sip. So a lot of times you got to look into exactly what the words are saying. It doesn't say gulp down water. It doesn't say hurry up and just drink and drink as fast as you can. No, it says take sips. Take sips of water. And that's the reason is you don't want to shock and introduce too much of that right away. And so seek medical help if symptoms don't improve. Now remember, if symptoms don't improve, heat exhaustion can lead to heat stroke. So again, recognize the signs. It's dizziness, thirst, heavy sweating, um, um, nausea, and weakness. And yes, like Libby says here, is sip cool water, not cold water. And again, that is what they're saying here is sip cool, cool water, not extremely cold water like fresh out of the fridge, cold, straight cold from your tap or whatever. Cool water. Some would also sometimes a lot some will also say lukewarm water, or not lukewarm water, but I'm sorry, but like room temperature water, like if you have a water bottle sitting out at room temperature. But you definitely do not want to introduce cold, like severe cold, like ice cold, into your body that quickly when it comes to that. So great point, Libby. Definitely. So definitely read the wording carefully, and take it exactly what they say to do, word by word. So again, it's sip cool water, not sip cold water, or not guzzle cool water, or not guzzle cold water. So sip cool water. Follow the instructions as they are written. So again, dizziness, thirst, heavy sweating, nausea, weakness. So that's the key symptoms and signs to look out for if you start experiencing heat exhaustion. Now, if your symptoms do not improve, if you're still like, this is freaking getting worse, I'm still dizzy, I'm still super thirsty, even after you've sipped cold water, even after you've laid down or even after you've loosened your clothing, even after you're in a cooler area, and you're like, I'm still not getting any better. So, and you're like, and then like you start to become a little bit confused, just maybe of where you're at, what's happening around you, who you're talking to, things of that nature. And then, so now you are basically into um, now you're basically on the path, or in the path of heat stroke. Now you are experiencing heat stroke. So heat stroke is like that. This is the worst of the worst. So now you're confused. You're still dizzy from what's going on, and it's possible for you to become unconscious. So again, and this is the most medically um, um, dire medical need one. This is the most one that you need to be calling 911 for. I would actually, even if you have heat exhaustion, it's good to reach out to 911 or somebody as well, just to make sure that you're not in that heat stroke stage as well. So even at heat exhaustion, it's good to make sure that you have the proper care around you. So again, act fast, right? Call 911. Move person to a cooler area, loosen clothing, and remove extra layers. Cool water with water or ice. So this is changed a little bit, right? So now they're saying cool the water with, or cool with water or ice. So they want to cool you down with ice as well, or things like, because now your body is super super out of range. It's out of temperature range when it comes to heat stroke. So again, this is the most dire situation to be in when it comes to that. So Libby says, and a great point, Libby says, yes, and if you are alone, make sure you reach out to someone else to let them know what you're experiencing. Yes, definitely. If you are alone, because a lot of heat exhaustion, heat strokes happen alone to people, especially if they go on a hot day and they go maybe for a run, even a walk. or whatever it may be, or they're just more susceptible to heat, like the elderly, people like that, and then all of a sudden, they go out alone or things of that nature, and then they start experiencing the symptoms. Yes, definitely want to reach out quickly to somebody and let them know, um, what's happening, and how you're feeling. And again, it does not mean you're weak. Does not mean you're weak at all. So don't think that, oh, well, I'll be better here in the next 10, 15, 20 minutes or so, and I'll just, do whatever. No, don't think that way. Because if you think that way, that's going to get you in trouble. So it actually means you're stronger if you're asked for help. So don't be afraid to ask for help. It does not mean you're weak if you ask for help. It actually means you're stronger, and it means that you care about yourself, and you're more in tune with that. So don't think that you're weak. Um, it doesn't mean you're weak if you ask for help, or if you start feeling these types of symptoms. Again, it does not mean you are weak at all. So don't let anybody tell you, "Oh, well, you'll recover. It's okay. You're just hot. You'll be fine. Sit down for a few minutes, or whatever it is." It's like, uh, no, don't let people dictate that. Um, so yes, again, strength. It's there. It's strong to ask for help. It actually means you're strong to ask for help, when it comes to that. So again, don't let somebody else dictate your life or dictate, how you feel, um, and make you feel weak or whatever just because of the symptoms that you're feeling, and maybe they're not, because two people can go through this same exact process with heat and everything else, and one person won't get heat stroke, but the other person, will. Again, that doesn't mean the person who gets heat stroke or heat exhaustion, that doesn't mean they're weak. That just means that happened to them, that their body, just wasn't able to, adhere, um, to the heat. And so again, doesn't mean you're weak at all. So the best thing to do is, if you're ever in doubt, is to ask for it. Is when the best thing to always do is ask for help. Um, but especially if you start feeling any kind of these symptoms, is to always ask for help, because you never know, and you definitely don't want it to turn into heat stroke, because as you see here, heat stroke can cause death or permanent disability if emergency treatment is not given. So again, it's saying, if emergency treatment is not given, you can either die or be permanently disabled. So don't let any ego get in your way to where you die or to where you are permanently disabled. So, and like Libby says, our body thermostats don't work the same from person to person. Yes, very true. Thank you, Libby, for that. Yes, awesome. Great point out there, Libby. Debbie says, like they always say, wear light color clothing so you don't get hot as much. Yes, that is very true. You definitely don't want to be wearing, like, uh, black, if you're outside. You don't want to be wearing anything like that, especially if you're out, in anything dark, right? Because dark is going to attract all that heat, and it is going to trap that heat in. So yeah, so light color clothing actually can play a huge role in the amount of heat that is absorbed. So because of the colors of the dyes that are used, it's and as well. So, and Libby makes a great point too. Lightweight as well. Yes. Um, so again, your body will start sweating, right, to cool you off. That's the first sign. It's going to start sweating to cool you down. Uh, but eventually, if you happen to kick into heat exhaustion and heat stroke, that the sweating is not going to help you anymore. You've now entered into a severe stage of heat related illness, when it comes to that. So your body's going to do everything it can in order that it knows how to cool itself down, without any treatment. but eventually you're going to need treatment to help you, um, especially if you're experiencing heat exhaustion or heat stroke. So during extremely hot and humid weather, your body's ability to cool itself is challenged. When the body heats too rapidly to cool itself properly, or when too much fluid or salt is lost through dehydration or sweating, body temperatures rise and you or someone you care about may experience a heat related illness. It is important to know the symptoms of heat exposure and the appropriate responses. The CDC provides a list of warning signs and symptoms of heat illness and recommended first aid steps. Some of these symptoms and steps are listed below. So, heat cramps. Heat cramps may be the first sign of heat related illness. So, if you start cramping, that is a very good sign, telltale sign that you need to get out of the heat. You just need to get out of it. Don't say, oh, I'm going to power through. I can do whatever. Make understand in your mind that your body's telling you, hey, something's not right here. Something's not clicking. So, so definitely take care of yourself. Symptoms: painful muscle cramps and spasms, usually in legs and abdomen, heavy sweating. So that's your signs, that's your symptoms. Again, you're like, whoa, this I'm sweating profusely. My shirt's drenched. I got a pain in my, in my muscle cramp in my legs. Um, that is your sign. Your body is telling you. Listen to your body. Your body is telling you, hey, this is not normal. I'm telling you, this is your body's saying, hey, I'm telling you, this is not normal. Get to a cooler place. Cool yourself down. So this again, listen to what your body will give you signs and symptoms. Your body will let you know. First aid: apply firm pressure on cramping muscles or gently massage to relieve spasms. Give sips of water unless the person complains of nausea, then stop giving water. Seek immediate medical attention if cramps last longer than an hour. So again, heat cramps. Now, and I just want to be absolutely clear here. It's not in all cases will it come in stages like this. Like it wants it, from heat cramps to heat exhaustion to heat stroke. You can just automatically, depending on how long you're out there and how long you are, um, maybe not listening to your body and things of that nature, is you can go just straight into heat stroke because you've been out there too long and you have not, uh, realized maybe some of the symptoms, or maybe some of the symptoms didn't pop up like the way that, that mostly that it's, but it's not an apples to apples type situation. So you can just be out there and go into heat stroke depending on what you're wearing, your susceptibility, your susceptibility, age, things of that nature. So again, I wouldn't take too much stock into saying, oh hey, I will get heat cramps first, and then I'll get heat exhaustion, and then I can take care of myself from there, so I don't get heat stroke. No, just know that there's a lot of factors and some mitigating factors as well that can just go, hey, you just bypassed heat cramps and heat exhaustion, and your body was so dang hot, and you just automatically went into heat stroke. So it has happened, and it can happen. It doesn't just go in straight on from there. So, um, so I just want to point that out. You have to be very careful again about how long you are exposed out there in the hot weather. So, but again, so there's not a set. Everybody's different, and again, everybody processes heat differently. Some people get hot super quickly, like just super super quick, compared to somebody else who can be out there for 2 or 3 hours and be like, um, I'm good, this is fine. But somebody else could be out there for 30 minutes and be like 20, 30 minutes and be like, oh man, I've got to go back inside. I feel, that this is just too much for me. So again, got to be careful because, but again, if you do have any signs from your body, make sure you're listening to the signs from your body. So it's very, very important. Heat exhaustion symptoms: heavy sweating, weakness, and tiredness, or tiredness, cool, pale, clammy skin, fast, weak pulse, muscle cramps, dizziness, nausea, or vomiting, headache, and fainting. So you can faint with heat exhaustion. Move person to a cooler environment, preferably a well air conditioned room. Loosen clothing, apply cool wet cloths, or have person sit in a cool bath. Offer sips of water. So you can sit in a cool bath according to the CDC when it comes to this. So um, seek immediate medical attention if the person vomits, symptoms worsen, or last longer than 1 hour. So they're saying basically the whole criteria is 1 hour. This is basically based off. So if you have cramps for more than 1 hour, seek medical attention. If you have, if your symptoms worsen or last longer than 1 hour, seek medical attention. So they're saying basically it's a 1 hour waiting period, nothing longer than that. But again, you don't have to follow that 1 hour. If you are like, hey, I need medical attention now, then you call right now. You don't just go, well, you know, maybe I'll wait an hour. Maybe that hour is too long for you. Maybe that 2 hour, or maybe that 1 hour ends up costing you your life or whatever it is. So if you feel like you need medical attention now, don't wait the hour. Ask for it right now, right then and there. Uh, that is the most important thing. So when it comes to that, and then the worst one, heat stroke. Throbbing headache, confusion, slurred speech, nausea, dizziness, body temperature above 103 degrees. So this is like when people get fevers, right? And their fever breaches like 100, 102, 103 and stuff like that. But this is a little bit different because with a fever, uh, it's more confined, right, to one spot. As heat stroke is, it's basically all over your whole body. So hopefully I explained that a little bit correct, a little bit there for you guys. So, but again, if your whole body temperature is over 103 degrees, um, when it comes to that. So, let me jump in chat here real quick, but at least that's what I know that as when it's based like off a fever. But I could be wrong. So somebody hold me to that. I could be wrong on that. So. Libby says it is important to know our bodies and how they respond to varying temperatures. Yes, it is. It absolutely. Um, I know I do okay in hot weather, but I know my limitations. So like if I know like, um, if I start to feel something, or if then I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take it slow and do that. So, um, so yes, know your limitations. Especially in the wintertime too. So we'll flip this to wintertime too. So know your limitations in cold weather, right? So as well. So if you are outside shoveling snow, or if you're just outside and you're like, oh, it's freaking freezing, and you're shivering and everything else, don't put your body through you know, don't put that stress on your body. So definitely, it's good to know your limitations in both sides, right? The hot weather as well as cold weather as well. So because they both can be very damaging to your body. So if you stay out too long in both of them. So, but yes, great points. Great points there, Libby. Um, Great points, Debbie, as well, and everything else. So, but again, so throbbing headache. This is for heat stroke. Throbbing headache, confusion, slurred speech, nausea, dizziness, body temperature above 103. Um, 103, hot, red, dry, um, or damp skin, rapid and strong pulse, fainting, loss of consciousness. So sometimes there is some overlap there between the heat exhaustion and heat stroke. So it's hard to really tell, like, oh, does this person actually have heat exhaustion or does this person have heat stroke? And that's why I say, because of there's some of those overlaps there, that just assume that whatever that a person is experiencing needs help. They need medical attention. So I would definitely um, I would definitely if somebody has heat exhaustion, I would definitely seek medical advice quickly because you really don't know sometimes if they have heat stroke because there are some overlapping symptoms when it comes to that. So it's best to just be cautious, and it's best to just seek medical attention right away. So call 911 or get the victim to a hospital immediately. Heat stroke is a severe medical emergency. Delay can be fatal. Move the victim to a cooler, preferably air conditioned environment. Reduce body temperature with cool cloths or bath. Use fan if heat index temperatures are below the high 90s. A fan can make you hotter at higher temperatures. Do not give fluids. You hear that? Fans. So if the heat index temperatures are below the high 90s, a fan can make you hotter at higher temperatures. Yes, it can because it actually creates warm air and it's blowing warm air on you. Trust me, I know that from experience. It's not good. Do not give fluids. So if you have heat stroke, they're saying no to water. Do not give that person water. Do not give that individual any type of fluids. It says it right here. Do not do it. So, again, that's going to be the first thing that somebody's going to want um, is water, right? They're going to be thirsty. They're going to be, oh man. And that's going to be majority of people's first reaction is, okay, I got to get this person water because they've lost electrolytes, they've lost you know, they're through sweat and everything else. So it's just natural that the first instinct is to say, oh, I need to get this person water. But if they are in heat stroke, um, it is not it is not in the best interest to give that individual water or any type of fluid because the number one thing at heat stroke is to cool the body down. So the number one thing is to get the body temperature reduced down. It doesn't matter about drinking at this point. It matters about getting the whole body temperature back down to 98.6 degrees or whatever it is, So that's just the average, So again, at this point, it's all about getting the temperature back down and in line. So again, heat cramps, heat exhaustion, heat stroke. Uh, know the signs, know the symptoms. If your body gives you those signs and gives you those symptoms, do not ignore them. Uh, do not do not at all ignore the signs and symptoms if you are out there. So again, uh, people who are more susceptible to heat stroke and heat exhaustion, right? So people who work outside, construction workers, very susceptible to heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Sports players, people who play sports when it's like 90 some degrees, it's 100 degrees, and like baseball, usually baseball because baseball's in the summertime. Football is not played in the summertime here in the United States. Soccer, people playing soccer can experience heat exhaustion, heat stroke. So again, so construction workers. Who else is working outside? Tree, maybe or landscapers, tree loggers. Who else? Concrete. People who are paving. People who are laying concrete. Um, Things of that nature. So you have to understand that uh, to know your limitations and know that, hey, I need to cool down. I need to make sure I'm not just overexerting myself in this type of heat, in this type of weather. So again, majority. So people are like that are going to be more susceptible to that, and people do actually go out and run. There are people who do run, like I mean, legitimately run in the 90s. It's 100 degree. It's 100 degree heat index. Um, Things like that. There are legitimate people who go out and run in this kind of weather. It's not obviously it's not um, um, something that anybody would ever say go out and do, but people do that. So obviously they would be susceptible to heat cramps and heat exhaustion and heat stroke as well. Um, Libby says, yeah, yes. Also, those who have to wear uniforms and may be outside, like police or firefighters. Yes, absolutely. Especially if they're out for prolonged periods of time. Yes, and the military as well. Definitely. That. Yeah. So it's again, especially if they are out for a prolonged period of times. That is very very true. When it comes to that, because again, um, yes, Debbie says even the military people have to work in heat overseas. Yes, they do. Um, yes, absolutely, absolutely they do. So yeah, so again, there's going to be people more susceptible, out there who are just working out there. But again, yes, road crews, construction workers, things that people who are building houses, everything like that. Just know that is it's those people are going to be more susceptible to experiencing any type of heat related illnesses. And even if you didn't experience it one day, you might experience it the next day. So let's say you worked your 8, 10 hour, 12-hour shift and you're out there all day long and you're like, oh, okay, I'm fine. I made it through it. But then the next day, you start to do your shift again, and then you start to feel sick and whatever else. So just know it just because you made it through one day, that does not mean that you will make it through the next day. So again, our bodies do adapt to certain situations and things like that. But again, you are still more susceptible because you've already been inside that heat, and your body still needs more time to cool down and everything else. So again, just because it didn't happen one day does not mean it won't happen the next day. So again, don't take that as like a victory sign or something like that. So just always be on guard and know that okay, it can happen. Um, the next day or so. So when it comes to that, so again, just be very careful when it comes to heat cramps, heat exhaustion, heat stroke, and don't take them lightly. Because again, what did we learn? Heat waves kill more people than all other weather related deaths combined. So you have to be able to. So again, heat is a very very dangerous, and a lot of times it gets. And I know, especially I've done a lot of stupid stuff probably in the heat that I shouldn't have, and again, it should be very very it should be definitely be respected more than what it is respected. And I know that from firsthand myself. I am guilty of that myself, of not taking it, uh, you know, maybe as seriously as I should have, or not respecting it as much as I should have. So definitely, I know that from firsthand experience from doing that. So again, know your body though. Yeah, if you know your body the best, you know your body the best more than what anybody ever knows your body. You know your body the best. So again, know this, understand what's happening, and if your body gives you signs, don't blow the signs off. Definitely, Eddie, definitely take seriously any type of signs or symptoms that your body is showing you or is telling you. So, um, when it comes to that, so I can tell you that. Like my wife today, she was feeling like a little lightheaded, a little. I do believe lightheaded, but I know she said that she was feeling like tingly, and stuff like that and everything. So it's just like, yeah, uh, go inside the house, cool off, and because definitely don't want to over push it and overdo it. So again, that doesn't mean she's weak. That just means that she was smart and listened to what her body was telling her, when it comes to that. So, um, but yeah, so it's in and so again, listen to your body. So when it comes to that, just like Libby says, yep, yes, be honest with yourself about what you're feeling. So always take your body seriously. Yes, we only have one body, right? That's all we have. That's all we get. So we have to take the best care of it the best way that we can. And so yeah, but I'm very, very proud of proud of my wife. Very thankful that she recognized, just how she is feeling and everything else, and uh, came inside and got an AC for a little while to cool down, and then felt better, and came back out, and we were able to finish what we were doing today, putting the trampoline together. In 100-degree weather is not recommended. I don't recommend that any of you do that. I don't. I don't recommend any of you putting a trampoline together in 100+ degree weather. Uh, it's not. When it comes to the heat, it's not. It's not fun. Uh, it was fun doing it, but with the heat, it was just very, very wild, to say the least, when it comes to that. So, but I do not recommend it. I do not recommend when it's 100+ degrees with the heat index. I do believe the air temperature was about 95 ish, and I think the heat index was like a little over 100. So again, not recommended. Not recommended at all when it comes to that. Uh, but again, very, very, very thankful, very blessed that my wife, noticed the symptoms, and she took it seriously. So very thankful for that. Because she's very strong, but again, it doesn't mean that she's weak. It doesn't mean that you're weak if you need to seek, you know, help, or you need to cool off, or you need to do whatever. So when it comes to that, but yes, but yeah, so very, very important again to recognize the signs and symptoms of heat related illnesses. Very, very, they are very, very um, serious, very, very important to recognize when it comes to that. So, and again, that's why they tell you. Um, Debbie says, great job, Debbie. Debbie says, I've been staying inside. I don't like the heat. I like it when the sun goes down. Sure, absolutely. Great point there, Debbie. Um, and that's why that's why a lot of times the um, the authorities and whomever else will tell you to check on people who are susceptible to heat related illnesses. So like check on the elderly, check on people maybe who aren't even elderly, but just don't deal with heat very well, like their bodies just don't deal with heat very well. So yeah, so a lot of times the people say yes, check on the elderly, check on the people who are more susceptible. So because there are people who live in places without air conditioner, without air conditioning. There are people who just don't have air conditioning. It's not everywhere. Not everybody has an AC. Not everybody lives in an AC house, or an apartment or a trailer or whatever it is. Not everybody has air conditioning. Um, so it's so you got to at least check on those people and be like, oh man, how are because imagine when you walk outside, you know, and it's 90 plus and some degrees, right? Well, if you don't have um if you don't have AC, you're not able to condition the air, right? That's what AC is, air conditioning, right? You're able to control the air in a certain amount of space that's around you. So that's why it's air conditioning, right? It helps. That's what it's doing. It's conditioning the air. But besides that, if you don't have AC, you're basically just in a hot box. You're just sitting inside of a hot box. Uh, so, um, so yeah, so it's very, very it's very very important that we do check on people who don't have AC when it's times like this. Um, so it's because again, um, I'll get back to that in a second, but it looks like brother Pastor John just chimed in. So very thankful. What did he say? Oh, he says, "Hi everyone. I'm about to land in Omaha with poor internet on the plane. Hey, appreciate that, Pastor John checking in from the plane. It looks like he's coming. Looks like he just came back from Maine. So when it comes to that, so um, thank you, Pastor John, for checking in. Thank you for chiming in. And as always, thank you so much, Pastor John, for your love, for your support, for your encouragement, and just for being a great mentor, and just an all around a great individual. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for their Pastor John. So definitely appreciate that. Very thankful for my dear brother in Christ, Pastor John. Let this be a rule of thumb too, as well. Um, your car, if your car is sitting outside in the hot heat weather, whatever it is, always just start at the bare minimum of doing plus 20. So, whatever the temperature is outside, start doing plus 20 inside of your car. So if the air temperature, if it feels like 100 degrees outside, start by thinking to yourself, okay, in my car it's going to feel like 120. So just start adding 20 degrees bare minimum for your car. That's the bare minimum. Now each car is going to be different and things like that because of the upholsteries and how big the car is, things like that. Maybe possibly if it's sitting underneath shade and things of that nature. But again, to all things, if it's not sitting underneath a tree, if it's just out there baking in the hot weather, always start by adding 20 degrees to the temperature. That is just a bare minimum. So when it comes to that, and it's when it comes, so always add in um, when it comes to that. Yes, so you definitely, again, so let that be a rule of thumb. The rule of thumb when it comes to the vehicle, when it comes to your vehicle, is start at a 20-degree minimum. That is going to because how many of us have had our cars sit out in the sun all day long and we get into them, and like it feels like an oven, right? It's like, whoa, this is freaking ridiculous. That's because it's just sitting in there baking and collecting all of that heat inside of it, and there's nowhere else for that heat to go because the windows are up and everything else. So again, start with 20 degrees. So, and again, that is a great reason why, and I think somebody put it in here. That is a great reason why you in, never leave your pets in a car. Never, ever leave your pets in a car. Even when it's only like, even when you think oh, it's only 75 degrees out, it's nice out. No, because remember, you're always doing plus 20 in your vehicle. Your car's always going to be hotter. So even when it's 70, 80 degrees out, cars can still be 90, 100 degrees. And if you have your dog, inside of that, and the sun is just baking down, and it's just super hot. You unfortunately, dogs, cats, whomever have unfortunately passed away because of being left inside of hot vehicles. It's unfortunate, but it has happened, and it does happen. And it's actually unfortunate because, and it actually happens to humans. People, unfortunately, do leave their children in cars. Unfortunately, when it's hot out and things of that nature. And unfortunately, kids end up suffocating and end up. Um, it's unfortunate, but it does happen. So, kids, pets, whatever. But just know that your car is acting as a pretty much a heat dome as itself. It's attracting all the heat. It's keeping all the heat in when it comes to that. So, uh, but yes. So just for a rule of thumb, just always do plus 20 in your vehicle. So that's just a bare minimum rule when it comes to that. So um, but again, things like I said, different. It that's just a minimum across the board because of different upholsteries and leather attracts. It gets hotter than certain other upholsteries, and cars bigger, cars smaller, but just the bare minimum, the average spread out across everything is just do a 20 minimum uh, plus in your vehicle. It's really good to understand that. So yes, so we got to keep pets safe, right? I mean, obviously we got to keep kids safe, people safe, pets safe. When it comes, but again, heat. The heat is we don't ever want to play around with the heat. It's just something we don't want to play around with. Um, and when it comes to that, so again, but yes, so that is part 3 of the lesson tonight. So what did we learn tonight? We learned about heat dome. We learned about a heat wave, and we learned about looking at and understanding heat related illnesses and how to identify and how to, um, you know, symptoms wise and things of that nature. So when it comes to that, so I um, definitely learned a lot about heat related things tonight. Uh, and again, it's a great topic because it is extremely hot here in Chicago. It's the middle of July. We're uh, summer is basically in full swing. Um, so it's extremely hot here as well as other places as well. So, but yes, but that is part 3 of the topic. Um, any questions? Any comments? Any concerns? Any feedback? Um, please let me know because you guys you guys are awesome. So let me know if you have any comments, questions. If not, we will jump into the fireside chat segment. We'll just talk about anything and everything that you guys want to talk about. But yeah, hopefully, um, like I said before, I'm guilty of not respecting heat enough. You know, not taking it seriously enough. Like I said, I've played a lot of sports out in the heat. Uh, oh, looks like we got Lonnie in here. Lonnie says, I wanted to say goodnight to my friends and I am ill again. Debbie, my friend, sorry I missed the stream tonight. Sorry. Oh, well, I hope you get feeling better, Lonnie. Hopefully you are okay. Hopefully, again, that you get feeling better there. Um, so hopefully you'll be doing better there, Lonnie. Hopefully, so God bless you with that, and God bless you with great health. So uh, hopefully you'll be okay there. But again, yes, definitely. Thank you, Libby. Libby says she will be praying uh, for Lonnie. You're welcome, Lonnie. Yes, again, hopefully, you know, God bless you with great health there. So yes, hopefully everything is okay there for you. So, but yeah, it's definitely, like I said, definitely respect how hot the weather can be, and disrespect what the heat can do to your body. And again, like I said, I know this firsthand because I have, obviously, I have before made some dumb choices when it comes to, doing stuff in the heat. Um, and it's not good to put that stress on your body um, when it comes to that. So, and again, if you are new here, thank you for joining in on the John Boy Severe Weather Lab and Education. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to everybody who's watching on Twitch. Thank you to everybody who's watching on YouTube. Thank you to everybody who's watching on Facebook. And thank you to everybody who's watching on Kick. You guys are awesome. You guys are, you guys make this happen. So, very thankful for all of you. You guys are amazing. So, very thankful. Again, very thankful. And if you are new here again, please like, please subscribe, please share if you enjoy my content. If you do not enjoy my content, I appreciate you being here anyways and for giving me a chance. Definitely appreciate that. So, if you're new here to the John Boy Severe Weather Lab and Education, you will find yourself receiving live severe weather coverage across the United States. But you also too will find yourself receiving live weather sessions and live weather seminars. So live weather education and teaching. So very, very great stuff. So a win-win situation for you guys and a win-win situation for me. So again, thank you all for being here in the John Boy Severe Weather Lab and Education. So again, yes, thank you guys so much for being here in the John Boy Severe Weather Lab plus Education. Very blessed to teach and to um, be here with all of you. So very thankful for that. So when it comes to that. So again, any questions or comments regarding the topic tonight, regarding the heat dome, heat wave, anything heat related, anything that you guys that sticks out, anything that you guys have questions on. If not, we will jump into fireside chats and we will hang out for a little bit and chat. And so, very, again, thankful for all of you. But again, let me know if you have anything in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions about anything. And I will do my best to answer your question. Um, and like always, um, if I don't know the answer to your question, I will tell you because I won't ever give you a runaround answer. I won't lead you down that path. So when it comes to that, so again, thank you so much. Um, hopefully, you guys learned about heat dome, heat wave, what causes that, and why it gets so hot. And also learn some cool stuff about how cities actually function as an urban heat island. So, as cities with buildings, skyscrapers, pavement, things like that, that actually makes cities warmer and hotter than rural areas. So hopefully you learned some cool information about that. So yes, definitely looks like. Oh, Debbie says exactly there, Lonnie. I wouldn't eat at McDonald's no more for a while. Eat somewhere else. So it looks like Lonnie maybe got sick from eating at Mickey D's, from eating at McDonald's. Um, I can I can attest to that. I can testify to that and say that happened to me before as well. Um, and I think that was the last time I ate McDonald's, and that probably would have been about 13, 14 years ago. So haven't had McDonald's in a very long time, and I don't ever plan on having it for a very long time. So when it comes to that, but I definitely know what that is. If that's what happened to Lonnie, that I know what that means. So yes, um, yep. But again, I think the last time I had McDonald's was like 2012 or 13 or something. So Lonnie says he had chicken. Chicken. Okay. Nice. I don't know about you guys, but we can talk about our favorite fast food places. That's a great thing to start about. That's a great way to start our fireside chat. Um, I, I myself am a huge, huge fan of Chick Fil A. That is probably that and Chipotle. Although I don't know if Chipotle is actually considered fast food. Maybe it is. I'm not 100% sure. Um, but definitely Chick fil A and Chipotle are my top two um, fast food places, if you want to say to that. So I love Chick fil A food for one. Well, that's actually second. I love Chick fil A what they stand for, number one, and I love their food second. So it's always great to support um, Chick fil A and the cause. Um, but I also love Chipotle. Chipotle is extremely good. I do love Chipotle a lot. Um, so I don't know if you guys have ever had Chipotle, but I love it. So um, I also like Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's is a pretty good place. I just started getting into that place. Probably like over the last year or so. Maybe not even that. Maybe the last 6 months or so. Do like Raising Cane's. Um, I also like. Let me know what you guys like in the comments. Uh, Lonnie says he likes Burger King, but it's 40 miles away. That is a long way to drive to get a Whopper. So yeah, probably don't want to be driving that just to get um, a Whopper or whatever. So, and I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this or not. Some of the greatest fast food I've ever ate has been at Dairy Queen. To me, Dairy Queen has like extremely great fast food. Like I don't know, they got such great hamburgers, such great French fries. To me, and it's like of all places, right? Because you don't think of Dairy Queen as like, oh, I'm gonna go in there and get, whatever it may be. But to me, they have a tremendous great food. So I don't know, um, um, what it is about. To me, Dairy Queen has great fast food there. Not only do they have great ice cream, they also have the great food. So I don't know if you guys have experienced that. Maybe you've experienced the other end and said, "Oh no, it's not very good." But to me, Dairy Queen has great food, great fast food. So, um, but that's me. That's me. I find that their food is very good. Uh, so I am a huge fan of Dairy Queen fast food as well. Um, but yes, but definitely Chick Fil A, and Chipotle are my top two. I have not had Burger King probably in, I don't know, 15 years or so. I haven't had McDonald's, like I said, in 12, 13 years or so. I haven't done those two in a very, very long time. Um, Wendy's, I probably haven't had Wendy's either for that amount of period, probably as well. So it's been a very, very long time. And Lonnie says, we had two DQs in my town. Now it's 40 miles away in St. Joe. Is that St. Joe, Missouri? Is that is? I can't see what that is. Is that what? Um, and then Debbie says, I like Hardy as well. Hardee's is pretty good. Whenever I ate Hardee's, I always ate breakfast there. I don't know if I ever ate like anything besides breakfast at Hardee's. So, but I do remember their hash browns were always really good. I do love their hash browns. So, or what? Yeah, because I think they're like small or something. I can't remember, but I just remember them being good at Hardee's. So, when it comes to that, but yeah. So, but yeah, like I said, I haven't had Wendy's in the extremely long time. I haven't had McDonald's. Have not had Burger King. Um, I used to eat it ever so often too. Is Culver's. I don't know if you guys have a Culver's or have ever heard of Culver's, but Culver's is pretty good. Um, Culver's is pretty good food uh, as well. When it comes to like chicken and stuff, I do prefer KFC. KFC is really good to me. Um, Popeyes is okay, but I think I am more of a fan though of KFC. So when it comes to that, Lonnie says we have one. It's 40 miles away, and so Lonnie, I think everything you're searching for is in a 40-mile radius from you. Or it's 40 miles away from you somewhere. Uh, so seems like the places are pretty far away from you when it comes to that. So, um, but yeah, definitely. Um, and then like pizza wise, uh, I mean, yeah, pizza wise, I do like Little Caesars pizza. I know some people, um, rag on them and stuff like that, but I actually think Little Caesars pizza is pretty good. Um, Pizza Hut. I used to be a huge fan of Pizza Hut, but Um, but besides that, Pizza Hut I can't really eat anymore. Like it does not good things to my stomach, so can't really eat Pizza Hut anymore. Um, Papa John's, I haven't had Papa John's in a very long time. Papa John's pizza in a long time, and I haven't had Domino's pizza in a long time. So if we're talking about the national food chain or the national chains, I do like Little Caesars. So um, I do like Little Caesars when it comes to that. Well, yeah, but I have not had Papa John's pizza in a very very long time. So um, yeah, Pizza Hut. Again, I used to like Pizza Hut was like my place, but yeah, I can't. The last few times I ate Pizza Hut, my stomach just was like, nope, you're not gonna eat Pizza Hut anymore. So I haven't ate Pizza Hut in a very long time. So when it comes to that, so um, but yeah, so I like a lot of those. Lonnie says there's a Subway in town. I used to eat Subway quite a bit. I remember I used to eat Subway back in the day, back when they had like the $5 footlongs, and stuff like that. I used to get a cookie all the time too. They had some really great cookies. Um, but yeah, I haven't had Subway. Lonnie says Sonic. Okay, I haven't had Sonic in a long time either. But yeah, I have not had Subway in a long time or Sonic. Um, Subway back in the day though when I used to eat it, it was really good. I also like uh, Jimmy John's. Jimmy John's is pretty good as well. Jersey Mike's. Jersey Mike's is pretty good. Um, and but yeah, but Sonic, I have not been to a Sonic in quite some time before. Libby says, Lonnie, it sounds like you have the options, just not the ones you would prefer. Yeah, good point out there, Libby, for sure. But yeah, I mean, there's options already for everybody. There's something for everybody. So there are so many food options. It's wild how many food options are out there. Like I remember, like I'm a big fan of buffets. Like I'd love to go to a good buffet. Like I used to go to, I don't know if it's around wherever you guys are at or heard of it, but there's a place called Old Country Buffet, but that's not around anymore. That was really good. Ponderosa Steakhouse Buffet, that was always really good. I don't know if they're any in business anymore. So really the only like chain, uh, um, what you want to call it, buffet place that I really know, um, is Golden Corral. Golden Corral is still around. That's a huge buffet place, and I believe Hibachi Grill as well. Oh, Shoney's. Oh yeah, I remember Shoney's. You guys have a Shoney's? That's awesome. I haven't seen the Shoney's in a long, long time. That's pretty cool. I should say too, I did like for a time there was a time I used to eat steak and shake. I don't know if you guys have a steak and shake or have heard of steak and shake. I don't know if they're national around all that. Maybe they are, but steak and shake had some pretty good food too as well. But get back to Shoney's, yeah, I have not seen a Shoney's in wow, very very long time. Yeah, that was uh, Debbie says Lewisburg, West Virginia has Bob Evans. Okay, yep, we have a Bob Evans. I used to go to Bob Evans quite a bit for breakfast. A Mexican restaurant and Chinese restaurant. Okay. Yeah, I used to go to Bob Evans. I shouldn't say quite a bit, but I went to Bob Evans ever so often for breakfast and everything. So, internet IHOP. I'm sure you guys have probably seen an IHOP or maybe have possibly been to an IHOP. Been to those very many times. Denny's as well. I don't know if Denny's is maybe it is national chain. But been to Denny's quite a bit. Uh, IHOP, Bob Evans. So they all each have their own, pros and cons to them. But nonetheless, have been to them uh, quite a few times. Oh, then how can I forget? Fast food wise, um, Arby's. Arby's has great uh, curly fries. So Arby's is a pretty good place as well. So I love Arby's curly fries. Those are really really good. Um, so Arby's is another pretty good place as well. But yes, um, Debbie says yes. There's one IHOP in Beckley, West Virginia. Uh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. You get that is cool, Debbie. You guys have a Shoney's though. That's cool. That's really cool. Lonnie is still says we have all of them in St. Joe, Missouri, 40 miles away. So that's awesome. Do you guys have wherever you're at? Do you guys have any remaining or still up drive through, or I'm sorry, drive in movie theaters? Do you guys have any drive in movie theaters, or not? Yes, exactly there, John Boy. I live between Beckley and Lewisburg, West Virginia. Nice. That's nice. Awesome, Debbie. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any, or that you know of any drive in movie theaters. Debbie says yes, one in Lewisburg, West Virginia. Nice. One man show says yes, we do. Okay. Lonnie says not since 1980 in my town. Yep. I've always liked drive in movie theaters. Like, those have just been pretty cool to me. I know they were huge and prevalent back in like the like 50s, 60s, stuff like that, and like when I know they were a lot more prevalent back then. Um, but I've always been a fan of them. I think they're pretty cool. Uh, I think it's a better experience actually than going to the movie theater. So I don't know. There's something about just sitting in your car around everybody else and just watching a movie. This seems pretty cool. So I've always been a fan of that. So when it comes to drive, but you don't see a lot of them. They're not really around anymore. There's not really a lot of them. Um, at least where I was, where I'm from, and from Indiana, there was only one that I know of that was still in operation. So, uh, but I don't think that there are very many out there that are left, um, drive-ins. But pretty cool nonetheless when it comes to that. So, and what about anybody big in sports? Because I'm a huge sports fan. So I'm an all Chicago guy. I am a Bears fan. I am a Cubs fan. I am um, so Bears, Cubs, Bulls, Blackhawks. Those are my teams. Um, when it comes to professional, college, I am Notre Dame, University of Notre Dame football. And I am IU uh, basketball as well. So, but yes, I'm an all Chicago sports guy. Um, Libby says not in town, but multiple drive-ins around the state, and I believe that's Michigan, right, Libby? If I'm not mistaken. So, um, but yes, I am a very huge sports buff, um, statistician, things of that nature when it comes to sports. So, huge Cubs fan, huge Bears fan, huge Bulls fan, and huge Blackhawks fan. So, I am not a Southsider. I am not a White Sox fan. I am not. I am a Northsider. I am a Cubs fan. Libby says, "What is your favorite sport?" Baseball. 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 Um, I am baseball and weather. Sports and weather are basically hand in hand. Um, um, to to what I love. So sports is a huge passion, huge love of mine. Weather is a huge passion, and weather is a huge um, uh, love of mine as well. So one man show says Red Sox, Celtics, Bruins. So he's all, yeah, of course from Boston, from the Northeast over there. Patriots. I love all sports, all life allow it. NASCAR including. Yes, I do like NASCAR as well. Um, I when I was watching NASCAR back in the day, uh, I was always a Jeff Gordon fan. So number 24. For those of you who maybe or may not remember who Jeff Gordon was, he drove the number 24 car. So I was a huge Jeff Gordon fan when he was in there. Now I like Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott is probably my favorite NASCAR driver at the moment. When it comes to that, Libby says, Libby says, favorite all-time player from the Cubs. My favorite all-time baseball player is Mark Grace. Uh, so Mark Grace is who is my favorite baseball player of all time. Um, just awesome, awesome first baseman. Um, so I think it's because um, so I'm left-handed, so I played first base as well. Um, so plus he wore number 17. I like number 17. Um, but Mark Grace, yeah. I mean, of course, and I love all the. I mean, I love Ryan Sandberg, Sammy Sosa. Even older ones like Ron Santo and Fergie Jenkins, and I can name, a list goes on and on. But Mark Grace, for me, I've always been just because of his character and the fact, again, that I'm left-handed, play first base, um, and things like that. So Mark Grace, to me, it has always been my favorite Cub of all time. So, um, but yeah, so it's good. Yeah, yeah, Southpaw. That's what I am too, man. I'm a Southpaw. Yes, Southpaw. I am a lefty. We are very few, far and in between. So I am a lefty. But yeah, so definitely a huge Mark Grace fan. And a great interesting fact about Mark Grace is, and if somebody ever asks you this question or it comes up when you're playing some sort of trivia game or whatever it may be, You on a bed, buddy? All right, sorry about that. Um, but yeah. So yes, I am all around it when it comes to sports. But what was I getting to? Sorry. So a cool fun fact about Mark Grace is maybe you may or may not know this, but if it's a good trivia question, if it ever comes up, you can answer it. So Mark Grace had the most hits for the decade of the 90s. So, throughout the whole 1990s, the hit leader for Major League Baseball is Mark Grace. So, cool baseball stat. Mark Grace led all of baseball in the 1990s with the most hits. So, pretty cool stat there. So, again, Mark Grace is my guy. Mark Grace is awesome. So, but again, I love Sammy Sosa, Ryan Sandberg, Sean Dunston, and the list goes on and on. Um, there's just tons of, and of course, recently, right, too, Chris Bryant, Javi Baez, Anthony Rizzo. Anthony Rizzo is up there as one of my top favorite Cubs as well, too. So, um, Ben Zobrist, John Lester, the list. Oh man, um, and then one of my favorite Cubs who left. They didn't want to resign him, and now he's crushing it with the Phillies, Philadelphia Phillies. One of my favorite Cubs too, Kyle Schwarber. Love Kyle Schwarber. Dude is a freaking monster. So Kyle Schwarber is killing it right now with the Philadelphia Phillies, and he has been for the past like 4 seasons. So, uh, but yes, 2016. If any of you know, it took 108 years for the Cubs to win the World Series. They won it in 1908. Then they won it again in 2016. So 2016 was a magical season. Um, an awesome, very, very magical season. So, uh, very blessed to have experienced that. So, I've been to many, many Cubs games, several, and I say many, a lot of Cubs games when it comes to that. So, but I do know that one man show said he's a New Englander. So, of course, the Patriots and the Bruins. Then it's going to be the Celtics and the Red Sox as well. So, Red Sox are obviously, um, famous for Fenway Park. And if you don't know anything about Fenway Park, that is the oldest ballpark in all of baseball, followed by Wrigley Field. So Fenway Park, though, is the oldest one in all of baseball. So, and it has what's known as the Green Monster. So, pretty cool. Uh, Fenway Park is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I've never been there personally, but it looks freaking awesome to go there. So, uh, and of course, they are rivals, obviously with the Yankees. That is a huge, huge rivalry there. One of baseball's top rivalries that is the Red Sox and Yankees. But the Bruins are pretty good too. I mean, the Bruins, the Blackhawks and Bruins were in the Stanley Cup final together. That was one of the years that the Blackhawks won the world, or won. I'm sorry, won the Stanley Cup final. So it was against the Bruins. So, um, and then of course New England, of course the Patriots. I mean, uh, you know, got Tom Brady. Tom Brady was Mr. Patriot for what was it, 15 plus years or something like that. Maybe longer. I think almost 20 years actually. I think it was more like 19 seasons or something. So when it comes to that, so Um, so yes, so New England saw a lot of great success with Mr. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick together there. So Lonnie says, "Well, it's 11:09 here. Uh, John Boy, you sleep well tonight. Libby, John Boy, Debbie, Libby, John Boy, you sleep well tonight. Friends, thank you. Made me feel better. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you, my friend. See you later. Yes, you're welcome, Lonnie. Thank you so much for joining in, Lonnie. Hope you get better. Try to stay away from McDonald's, it sounds like. So make sure you don't be eating any more of the Mickey D's anytime soon. But nonetheless, thank you, Lonnie. Welcome in, Julie Rios. Thank you so much, Julie, for being here. Very awesome. Thank you so much. We are just having some fireside chat right now. We're talking about sports and food and different things right now. So when it comes to that, so a lot of great stuff. But yes, I love sports. Sports is my other sports and weather are like my love and my passion. So even though I am a by degree, so I have two master degrees. I have a master degree in business, so I have an MBA, and I also have a master degree in supply chain. So so by training and by schooling, uh, you know, that's um, business side of things when it comes to supply chain and business and things like that. Um, but my true passion and everything else is weather um, and sports, which I have a lot of training and schooling in both of them, training as well when it comes to that. So don't ever let your degrees, define you as a person. So when it comes to that, but yeah, it's really good. But yeah, a lot of great stuff. Anybody in here um play an instrument of anything, any sorts of any kind? Is anybody an instrumentalist? So does anybody play an instrument? Guitar, piano, cello, bass, anything like that? My beautiful wife says she does. Yes, she does. Yes, she does. And she's very, very good at it as well. One man show says I wish I did play, but I love the guitar and drums so much. Awesome. Libby says I tried to play piano, decided voice was more my style. Awesome. Um, my wife is a vocalist as well, so that's very cool. My beautiful wife is a vocalist. Uh, but yeah, so a little bit more about me. I am a guitarist, so I have been playing guitar for well over 20 years. And so I am also a singer, songwriter, um, guitarist. Um, so yeah, I have been doing that for quite some time. So I love writing songs, love singing, love playing guitar, love creating, um, love creating music, producing music, um, yes, composing music, things like that. So, but yes, so I've been playing guitar for a very, very long time and writing songs and singing, things of that nature. So, pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Yep, and I used to play in, um, uh, okay. Libby says, "What do you sing? What style of music do you write and perform, John?" Oh, great question. My beautiful wife says, "I am a music teacher." Yes, she is a music teacher. So lots of kids songs. I also serve on our church's worship team. In college, I enjoyed Broadway. Yes, so my beautiful wife, like show choir. She used like show choir. I think some other stuff as well. But yeah, my wife, my beautiful wife, is a music teacher, kindergarten through fifth grade, K through five, and yes, she also serves on our church's worship team as well. I used to also play on our church's worship team. I used to play in the band, playing guitar in our church's band as well. So yeah, so I used to do that as well. Play in the church band. But as far as what Libby asked, I write. Uh, I I am more. Um, Sometimes I write Christian songs, so sometimes I sing and write Christian songs, and sometimes I also write secular songs as well and sing secular songs as well. But I would say my music style when it comes to secular songs, I'm very big into like. Um, I try to make music that's. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Noah Kahn or um, like Dave Matthews and people like that. Um, so I do like a lot of folk. I think I have a lot of folk infused music into my style. Um, but as well, I like to kick in a little bit of um, what you want some and like some alternative as well and things of that nature. So I'm kind of like a hodgepodge of different things, but yeah, when it comes to that, but yeah, I do write a lot of, or I do sing and write a lot of Christian music, Christian songs, and then also secular songs as well. So uh, one man show says, "I'm going to keep the stream on, but I'm going to bed now. I love you all. God bless. Thank you, Jam Boy, for all your hard work, and thank you, Ali, for sharing Jam Boy with us. Yes, you are awesome. Thank you, One Man Show. You are a dear brother in Christ. Much love to you, brother. Hope that everything up in New Hampshire is going well. So, um, very great, awesome stuff there. So, thank you, One Man. You are awesome, dude. So, very great stuff, man. God bless you, brother. Ali, Ali, my beautiful wife says, "Thank you, Libby." Yeah, let me go back to it. Yeah, thank you, Libby. That's definitely my why in teaching music, and to be able to serve the Lord of worship has been such a blessing to me. Yes, it is a huge blessing for sure. Uh, yes, one man show is the man. Yes, he is. One man show is awesome. Keep teaching your crew, man. Keep teaching your co-workers about some weather, man. So when it comes to that, so very awesome stuff. Very cool stuff. Much love to your brother. Thank you, One Man Show. Thank you so much. Much love to everybody who is still in here. So thank you to everybody who's still watching on Twitch. Thank you to everybody who is still watching on YouTube. Thank you to everybody who is watching on Facebook. And thank you to everybody who is watching on Kick. If you are new here, welcome in to the John Boy Severe Weather Lab and Education. Here you will find live coverage of severe weather across the country, across the U.S., and you will find educational live streams to help you get better and better knowledge of weather. So I'm very thankful to do that. Very thankful to teach all of you and also to learn from all of you as well. So again, please like and please subscribe. Very thankful and blessed for all of you for being in here tonight. So tonight's topic, if you're new here, tonight's topic was heat dome plus heat wave, and we also learned about some heat related illnesses. So if you are new here, the cadence of my streams will be I will always start the streams with teaching the topic first, and then we will move into what are known as fireside chats, where we would just chat and we would just learn about each other. So very thankful again for all of you. So if you are new here, again, thank you. Um, Thank you for being here. Please like, please subscribe, um, and please share. Again, if you enjoy my content, and even if you don't enjoy my content, I appreciate you stopping by and giving me a chance. I really do. I'm humbled that you gave me a chance. I'm humbled by everybody's time, by everybody, because everybody could be spending their time doing something else than this. So very appreciative and very thankful for that. So, but again, if you're new here, the cadence will go. I will teach the topic first, and then we will just jump into some laid back fireside chats and just chat about anything, and just get to know each other more and to hang out with each other. So it's a good space. It's a good space to learn about God, to learn about Jesus. It's a great space to learn about ourselves, things we like, things we don't like, and things like that. So it's just a great space. So again, thank you all for being here and uh, for checking in here. So very very thankful for that. And again, getting very close to 3,600 subscribers, getting very close to becoming a YouTube partner. Very, very close to that. So, right. Lonnie says, Debbie, check my post, my friend. Good night, everyone. Uh, Thank you, Lonnie. Good night, brother. Appreciate that. Very, very thankful of you being in here. But yes, thank you all for being in here. For being part of the rebrand of the channel, for just um, being so supportive and so encouraging so through this process. So yes, very thankful. And obviously, very thankful for Pastor John, Brother John, Papa John, whatever you want to call him. Very thankful for his love, for his support, for his encouragement, for his mentorship. Very just thankful for him providing wisdom and knowledge and and all that. So very thankful for Brother John, Papa John, Pastor John. Um, very thankful again. Very grateful. Grateful for him. Grateful for his wife Melanie, for her support as well too. Grateful for Freddie as well. Freddie McKinney as well. Grateful for all of them. Just great stuff. So looking forward to just growing and blossoming, uh, my relationship with Pastor John, and just really looking forward to all that. Uh, so again, if you are in here and you are not subscribed to um, John McKinney, Storm Chaser John McKinney, um, who is also known as Papa John in the community, in the storm chasing community. He is also a pastor, so I call him Pastor John. He's also a brother in Christ, so sometimes I will call him Brother John. Uh, but I do my best to say Pastor John because pastor to me is more of a more endearment term, um, since he is a pastor. So, but nonetheless, you will hear me say Pastor John most of the time. Sometimes Brother John, and sometimes Papa John, just if I'm talking about other things. So, but if you again, I am talking about Storm Chaser John McKinney. Um, and if you are not subscribed to his YouTube channel, please subscribe to his channel here that I just typed in here. So as you see, if you type in exclamation point Papa John, his will pop up. And if you see that, so if you look at that, please click on his link there. That is his YouTube link, and you can subscribe to his content. So you might find Pastor John in Nebraska one day, and the next day he might be in Maine, or he might be somewhere else far away. So he is very, very good at storm chasing, very good at just being in the right place at the right time, and for just being very passionate about it as well. So, again, if you have not, please subscribe to Storm Chaser John McKinney, also known as Papa John, Brother John, Pastor John. So very awesome. So very cool. For all those who are in here who are not subscribed to him, please subscribe to him if you are not. And also subscribe to Freddie McKinney. Freddie McKinney, if for those of you are in here who might not know, Freddie McKinney is John McKinney's son. So please subscribe to Freddie as well. So very, very, I will put Freddie's thing in here as well. So Freddie's stream is now, or Freddie's link is now in the chat. So if you click on that, that will take you to Freddie McKinney's stream. And you will be hooked up with Freddie McKinney's YouTube page. So please subscribe to Freddie McKinney as well. So very thankful for that. So thankful, yes, so thankful for just such a great community. The weather community is a great community. So I know sometimes people can give it a bad name and a bad rap, but then again, there are bad apples in everything. So there are bad apples everywhere. So don't let one person um, don't let one person ruin your perspective of the whole community. So the community itself is a very, very great community. But yes, there are some bad apples and some bad actors inside of it. But nonetheless, the majority of everybody is really awesome. So when it comes to that, so storm chasing is awesome, right? Storm chasing is a the great part of the weather community. So, but yeah, so thankful. I'm very thankful for again for Pastor John. Very thankful. Thankful for his raids. Thankful for him. Obviously sending people my way. Very thankful for that. Very thankful for just his overall just support, his love, support, and encouragement. It's very awesome. He's very very awesome in what he does. So it's very good. It's very good. I'm glad to have glad to obviously have sponsored him fully for the month of June, but to still um, help him out and still support his channel a lot is very awesome. So um, Libby says I am usually watching John on at least one of my screens when he is live. Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you, Libby. Thank you for watching Pastor John on one of your screens. He it's very awesome. Very cool. Yep. And I do a lot of the same things as well myself. So yep, but he is very, very awesome. Pastor John, Papa John, uh, Brother John. Libby said I don't talk as much there. That's cool. Yep, that's where Debbie's from. That's how I know Debbie is from over there on Papa John's streams because she's a mod over there. And I know, so basically all the mods I have on my channel are mods. There's only a few on my channel who are mods who aren't mods for Pastor John. Um, so almost every mod you see for me is a mod for Pastor John as well. Because he said to me, was like, hey, basically in a nutshell, it's like, I got great mods and, um, so obviously he trusts them as mods. So obviously I trust them as well. So I think the only mods that aren't Papa John's mods that I have for me are Libby, Jonathan, and I think KJax or KJAC, who I haven't seen in a long time, but she's a sister in Christ as well. I have not seen her on here in a very, very long time, but she is also a mod for Max Velocity. So, um, but she's a mod here as well. But I have not seen her in a while. So, welcome in Vera Lucia. Thank you so much. Cool name. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for subscribing. Pretty awesome stuff. So, very thankful. Very thankful that you are in here. So, Again, thank you to everybody watching on Twitch. Thank you to everybody watching on Kick. Thank you to everybody watching on YouTube. And thank you to everybody watching on Facebook. You guys are awesome. I hope you enjoyed today's or tonight's weather session. Again, stay cool. Do listen to what your body tells you if you start to have any type of heat related symptoms or illness. So make sure you're just doing your best um, to stay cool and to take the heat very seriously. Um, Again, try your best to always respect it and um, to just do your best there and not look past it. So very great stuff. Very great. Had a lot of fun teaching you guys tonight. A lot of fun in the weather lab, in the severe weather lab tonight. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed your time in the severe weather lab as well. Um, Again, it's awesome to do this. It's a pleasure to do this. So again, I got you know a bunch more weather topics in the pipeline, like wildfires, hurricanes, and there's more after. There's still a bunch. So a lot of cool stuff. So Libby says, "I'm glad you covered the health dangers of the heat and what to look out for." Thank you, Libby. I appreciate that. Thank you. Um, yeah, just want to help as many people as I can. Just understand that and to do their best to look out for any type of symptoms and what comes to that because some of these symptoms can come up so quickly. So just look out for that and just be aware. Again, when it comes to that. So, but thank you, Libby. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you to all the mods. Uh, for being in here. Thank you to everybody who's been in chat. Thank you to everybody who's come in and who has gone out. Either from YouTube, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, wherever you might be out of. But thank you for coming in and checking out. I really appreciate that. Thank you to everybody who commented in the comments. You guys are all awesome. Thank you guys again for such a great stream. Looking forward to doing it again tomorrow. The plan is again to be on tomorrow. So again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, I can be reached at the email that is in my YouTube bio. So again, hopefully you guys learned something. Hope you guys can take something away from this and understand. Maybe understand a little bit about a heat dome, understand about heat wave and some heat and the heat related illnesses. So again, hopefully you guys were take a little bit of some learning nuggets away from that. So very thankful again. Again, thank you to everybody for being here in the John Boy Severe Weather Lab and Education. Very thankful for that. Again, take the heat very serious. The heat can be a big pain in the butt if we allow it to be. So, again, thank you to everybody for being here tonight in the John Boy Severe Weather Lab Plus Education. Very thankful for all of you. Very thankful for this platform. And like Libby says, yes, stay hydrated. Definitely want to stay hydrated. Make sure you're drinking enough liquids, water, electrolytes, anything to make sure that you just are staying hydrated. So do your best to stay away from like caffeine products and like coffees and pops and sodas and things like that. But nonetheless, just do your best to always stay hydrated. Because that is a huge thing. I know what it's like to be dehydrated. I was dehydrated for over 3 months. So I know exactly what it's like to be dehydrated, and it sucks horribly bad. So, um, but nonetheless, you guys are awesome. You guys make this. You guys make this awesome, and you guys make this all possible. So, again, the plan is tomorrow is to be on here streaming again tomorrow with another cool topic. So hopefully, I will catch all of you tomorrow. Hopefully, you guys have a great Wednesday night, um, Wednesday morning, depending on where you're in the east, um, wherever you're watching from. I hope you have a great day, great night, great time. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Again, you guys are all great supporters and all great encouragers. So very thankful for all of you. Very thankful for your time. Very thankful for all of your inputs. So thank you, Julie. Yes, God bless you too. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Libby. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the lesson. Hopefully you guys took something out of it, even if it's the smallest thing. So, I appreciate that. Uh, yes, God bless you, Libby. God bless you, Julie. God bless you, Debbie. Everybody who's in here on Twitch, everybody who is on YouTube, everybody who's on Facebook, and everybody who is on Kick. Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. You guys are all loved. You guys are all cared for. You guys all mean something. You guys all have a purpose. And just always know that God loves you more than anything and more than anyone can or ever will. So, again, just take that to heart and know that. So, take comfort in God's promises and God's love. So, again, very thankful for all of you. You guys all have a great night. God bless all of you. And as always, be brave and let the Lord